Hey guys, how is everybody? That's been a day. So let's Chris said I hope the sequel's better than the first one. KT saying a short day. Well, that's good news because I don't want to that's the problem when I start these late. Now, good news is Monday we doing it on our own time. We'll be doing it all day. All day. So that's the positive. Okay. Rumblers, you have the bumblers now. So, guys, yeah, we're gonna do day. Hold on. There we go. Day duh of Hannah Reed Gutierrez. Gutierrez the Reed. Yeah. Oh wow, it's all done. They're like Dunsky. Okay. Also, big news. It looks like Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade lied because apparently there's like thousands of phone calls and tens of thousands of text messages going back years and years and years and years and years and years and years. So yeah, it looks like they may have committed perjury about how long they knew each other. So that'll be fun. But we're gonna do day 2 of this trial. Now, I'm gonna see. I don't know who had the better feed today, but yeah, young the YSL gang's a day 30. Geez, that's awful. Where is Can't read? Okay, here we go. And day 2. Only 6 hours. Also, guys, if you weren't aware, totally watched the first Illegal Vices, but you need some of my reaction to this. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I was just bringing that up. Fannie and Nathan got busted. So do I have 6 months of cash laying around? No, I don't. And if I did, I wouldn't tell people about it because that would encourage me to get robbed. But no, that's a lot of cash to hold on to, and I mean, I get the idea of having stacks on deck, but if you're holding on to cash like that, you better be able to afford to lose 6 months worth of cash. And I can't just let 6 months of cash light on fire. So no, it'd be nice if I could have stacks on deck, like like casino style, where there's like the safe in the floor and you open it up. And yeah, don't have that though. How do I feel with clients of paying cash? I mean, what's not to love? I mean, cash king, homie. Cash money homes. That always works. Some nice Chris $100 bills always can fix a problem. So yes, also guys, the Michelle Troconis trial, we are going to wrap that up probably this weekend. The last couple days are done and everything's through. So good stuff's done. We got to the end. Defense is rested. Who got first tonight? Alpha Fox. First again. Let's build. Laying that keystone. That cornerstone right there. All right. So we're going to get to this now. Let's see if the Long Crimes audio and everything's better. And they got closed captioning up. Good. Okay, guys, I don't know why it's in black and subdued, but that's where it is. I apologize for that. I don't know what to do to fix that. Let me see if I can fix this here. Yeah, I don't have an option for that. So we're just gonna get started. Tilly says, "Do you ever worry about holding cash money for payment? That civil asset forfeiture makes you prove your cash is innocent." No, I'm not that worried because I mean, like, a couple $1,000s at a time, maybe. It's not like I've had like 40 G's sitting in my pocket. Like, I get money to the bank fairly quickly if I need to, or if, there's no point in holding on to it forever. You got to get into a trust account or your account, depending on if you've been paid. So, big stacks of cash, that's always a problem you don't need. It's an accountability problem and it's a security problem. So, no, I don't like having piles of cash. So, all right. I know you guys are asking Fanny jokes there, but I was also being slightly serious. So here we go. The Roost shooting. Hannah Reed. Hunter. Let me see here. Can I put me? You guys want me down here? Yeah. Oh, I like being in the top corner. Hold on here. We're gonna back out, see if I can find abort TV. No, that's not gonna work. We'll do a long cuck. All right, here we go, chat. Here we go. Hello, Ronnie. All right, let's we're gonna do some 1.5 times just because these guys, I don't know what it is, but here in Ohio, trials, like, people talk. But this is just, gooberelling along here. Let's see. So 20 minutes a waste of time. Also, once again, guys, I bring this up every time, but I think it's worth looking at. Look how big this is. One half of the courtroom. Look how many rows there's. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows, and that's maybe what? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 maybe people across. Or if it's like me, a bunch of me sitting there, maybe like 4 or 5 me's. These are not big courtrooms in America. This is a typical courtroom size in America. So remember, these are not big cathedrals of justice.
I only got it on my cheeks. Quite a long. Have a good evening. They were cooped up at work.
Seriously, like, what's going on?
Let's wait. We need to hit post.
I just need to get set up.
All right. Can you get your witness back on this? There you are.
Sure.
Okay, if you guys didn't remember, we left off with the CSI tech. She is going through all the boxes of ammo they found, including like the Kate Spade ammo bag, which is like the bougiest ammo bag in the world. Some guys are sitting there like, I wish my range bag cost that much. I mean, because that's a pretty baller range bag. So here we go. Nova, we'll get to this later. That's a very good question.
George. Good morning, Ms. Powell. Good morning.
All right. You're still under oath.
Yes. Yesterday, we were discussing a Mary Kay bag that was located, I think, in the prop truck. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Oh.
sorry. Yesterday, we were discussing a Mary Kay bag that was located in the prop truck. Do you recall that?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and continue there. I am showing you what we've marked as State's Exhibit 44A. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is this a photo of?
This is a close-up of what's inside that Mary Kay bag.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. What are these over here on the right?
Those are spent blank rounds.
Okay. And what are we looking at here?
This-
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is the exhibit number of this particular?
This one is 44B.
44.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is an overall view of what's inside that Mary Kay bag.
Okay. And so were there things underneath these boxes?
Yes.
And what was underneath the boxes?
I believe there were additional rounds underneath those boxes.
Okay. And do you know what we're looking at here on the side?
This is the outside pocket of that Mary Kay bag.
Okay, and I'm sorry, this is State's Exhibit 45.
Oh, Mary Kay, not Kate Spade.
Maybe I need another cup of coffee.
My apologies to all the women out there. It was Mary Kay, not Kate Spade. Mary Kay, like, I guess. Somebody used that ammo bag. Somebody bought that ammo bag so some lady could have her pink Cadillac.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 46. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what's that?
This is the inside of that bag once those ammunition boxes were removed, where you can see loose rounds.
All right, thank you. And State's Exhibit, excuse me, 47. What are we looking at here?
This is the middle portion of that bag.
Okay. And do you recognize State's Exhibit 48?
Yes.
And what is this?
This is a box of ammunition marked as dummy rounds 45 LC that was removed from that Mary Kay bag.
And State's Exhibit 48A, do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what are these?
This is the foam insert containing dummy rounds that was removed from that box.
And how many rounds altogether, if you recall, were in there?
17.
Okay, thank you. State's Exhibit 49, do you recognize that?
These are those same rounds removed from the foam insert and laid out.
Okay. And what's the round that you have there by itself up at the top?
That round that's moved sideways posted a concern at first because it was not making any noise with ball bearings inside like the rest of the rounds were.
Is this the same Dentix round that we admitted into evidence yesterday?
It is not.
It is not. Okay. This is just a round that was in that box that didn't shake.
Correct.
Okay. And did you do anything with that round?
We sent that round to the FBI because it was of concern and their determination was that the ball bearings were stuck inside of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was the reason it wouldn't rattle?
Correct.
Okay. State's Exhibit 50. What are we looking at here?
This is an ammunition box of marked as 3840 dummies that was removed from the prop truck.
And are all of the rounds in that styrofoam insert 3840 dummies?
No.
What other calibers in there?
Some of them are 4440s.
All right. Any 45 Colt rounds in there?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. State's Exhibit 51. What are we looking at here?
This is a close-up of those same rounds.
Okay. And we can kind of see the head stamp there. Can you see that?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 52. What's this?
These are those same rounds laid out.
And the rounds over on the right-hand side, what are those?
The rounds that are over on that side that are laid sideways, those are the 3840 rounds.
These are the 3840s?
I apologize. Let me refer to my report.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry. Those are the 4440s.
And the chrome and shiny brass that we're looking at here on the left, what caliber are those?
Those are the 3840s.
Okay, great. In terms of the 4440s here on the right, do all of the 4440s that you have, dummy rounds that you have in evidence, do they all have that same projectile that we can see here?
Yes.
And is that projectile dissimilar than the projectile of the live rounds?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 53. What's this?
These are the rounds that were provided to Detective Hancock from Hannah Gutierrez during her interview.
Okay. And were they all dummy rounds?
Yes.
And the 5 on the left, do they shake?
No.
The one on the right, does it rattle?
Yes.
Rattle rather than shake, I apologize. State's Exhibit 54, what are we looking at here?
This is the close-up of the projectile that was
Timer's come in a
recovered
lot of
from Joel
colors,
Souza's
so not
shoulder.
really.
Okay. And just to be clear, this is the only projectile that was that was taken into evidence presumably from the injuries of the victims.
Correct.
Okay. State's Exhibit 55. What's this?
This was a bag of spent casings that was located inside the Mary Kay bag.
And State's Exhibit 56.
These are those same casings laid out.
And I see that you have some separated up here on the top left. Do you see those?
Yes.
I'm going to move to State's Exhibit 57. What's this?
This is a close-up of those same rounds.
The casings?
Casings, yes.
All four of these spent casings, are they all 45 long Colt or
Yeah.
45 Colt?
Yes.
And are they all Starline brass casings?
Yes.
It would appear that they all have silver primers.
Yes.
Are these casings basically identical to the casing that was taken from the scene and sent to the FBI?
You're right, and I'm gonna object on the leading, and if it can be rephrased, so it's not leading.
Sure. Did you find any spent casings on the prop cart?
Yes.
How many?
One.
And can you tell us what that one looks like as compared to what we're looking at here in States 57?
Yes. The casing that was located on the cart is a silver primer and states 45 Colt with the Starline brass logo.
All right, thank you. States Exhibit 58. Do you know what we're looking at here?
Yes.
And what is this?
This was a shirt collected from the scene that was marked as item 18.
Do you know which of the victims this belonged to?
I believe this was Joel Sousa's shirt.
Okay. States Exhibit 59. Do you recognize that?
This was that same shirt, just from the opposite of you.
And let me stop you there. I'm going to go back to
That's a lot
States
of blood.
Exhibit 58, and I'm going to blow it up here.
Howdy, Nick. How are you doing?
Do you see here where it says marker 18?
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
What that correlates with is what I marked it with our crime scene evidence markers on scene. So it was marked on scene with a yellow marker that stated as 18.
Okay. States Exhibit 59. What writing do you have here?
I have it as from Med 60.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you again. I think you indicated that this was the same shirt that was in 59, is it? Or I'm sorry, 58.
It is not. I apologize.
Okay, so let's move to States Exhibit 60. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what are we looking at here?
This is the shirt collected from Med 60, which was the ambulance, from a viewpoint of it laid completely out.
And who was wearing this shirt on the day of the incident?
I believe this shirt belonged to Helena Hutchins.
All right, thank you. And these have already been admitted into evidence, but States Exhibit 61, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And did you take this photo?
Yes.
And can you tell us where you took the photo and why?
This is the inside of Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle, where the 2 boxes of ammunition that were handed to him were secured.
States Exhibit 62, what's that?
This is a close-up on those ammunition boxes.
And in States Exhibit 62, can you clearly see that label?
Yes.
Can you tell us what the label says?
45 Long Colt Dummies, JS.
And when you say JS, you're referring to those small letters in the center?
Yes.
All right. And States Exhibit 63, what's this?
This is that same box.
Only, where was this photo taken?
Thank you.
This was in my office in my processing room.
Okay. States Exhibit 64.
This is the inside of that box.
Welcome all the Nick Starro visitors. And Nick, it looks like you're taking off, man. Have a great night. Sleep well. Slumber well, Fair Prince.
And this round here, we may have already discussed it. Was this round sent to the FBI?
Yes.
Was it determined to be a live round?
Yes.
States Exhibit 65, what's this?
These are those same rounds removed from the foam insert and laid out.
Okay. And if you know, and if you need me to bounce back to the previous photo, I'm happy to. From looking at this, do you know which of these is that live round?
The live round in this case would be next to all of the rounds that have the hole drilled through the side.
Here?
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that. I want to make sure. Let me ask you this. When you took the rounds out of the styrofoam insert and you lined them up, did you line them up in the same order that they were in the styrofoam insert?
No.
Okay. Why did you put these 5 at the bottom by themselves?
Because they were a different type of round.
Okay. And so how are these 5 over here on the left different than the rest of the rounds from the box?
So they have the hole drilled through the side.
All 5 of them?
Those 4, and then the one on the end would be the live round.
Okay, this one right here.
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you. States Exhibit 70. Well, let me stop for a second. I think you testified yesterday that you participated in a search warrant at PDQ Props. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you collect any live ammunition from PDQ Props?
Yes.
Okay. And let's turn to States Exhibit 70. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is this?
This was a box of ammunition that was recovered from PDQ Props.
A box of ammunition?
Yes.
Was it live or dummy or blank?
Only live ammunition was collected from PDQ Props.
Okay. When you were there, were there other types of ammunition there also?
Yes.
Okay. States Exhibit 71, what are we looking at here?
This is the live ammunition that was recovered from PDQ Props.
And this live ammunition that was recovered from PDQ Props, is it visibly different than the live rounds that were found on the movie set?
Yes.
And how is it visibly different?
So there were different types of live ammunition collected from PDQ, including different stamps on that ammunition.
And let me ask you this, the projectile shape, is the projectile shape different in these than in the rounds that were found on set?
Yes.
States Exhibit 72, what are we looking at here?
So this is a close-up of some of that live ammunition.
And can you tell us what color primers the live ammunition from PDQ Props has?
This ammunition that we're looking at now had brass.
Okay. And that's, is that different than the live rounds that were found on set?
Yes.
Did you bring another piece of physical evidence with you at my request?
Yes, I did.
If you can help me. I'm going to mark this item as States Exhibit 91. Ms. Popple, do you recall yesterday when we discussed States Exhibit 79?
Yes.
And remind us what States Exhibit 79 is.
This was a live round that was deconstructed by the FBI.
And where did this live round come from?
If I can see the label on it, I apologize. So this live round originated from the box that was handed to Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay, and that's the box that just has the one live round in it that we looked at the photo of?
Yes, with the silver primer.
Oh, I'm not connected anymore. Okay, and that would have been States Exhibit 64 for the record is what we're referring to.
Yes.
And what you brought me today, States Exhibit 91. Let me try to get it out there. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This was,
Let me back it up for just a second so we can see more. Okay.
this was a round collected from PDQ that was then sent to the FBI, and the FBI deconstructed it.
What was the purpose behind sending the live rounds from the set and the live rounds from PDQ to the FBI?
They did an analysis of the gunpowder components in both rounds.
Okay, great. So what we just saw in States Exhibit 79, this is similar. Do you agree? It has a casing and a projectile and a container of gunpowder.
Yes.
Can you see the gunpowder that I've zoomed in on there?
Yes.
And does that look to be the same just visibly from just looking at it? Does that,
I'm not checking that.
I'm not quite sure what the way you're she's phrasing it.
Yes, it just, I guess, it's okay. Sometimes it sounds leading to me, but it's okay. We'll just go for it.
All right, thank you.
Is this different than the other exhibit, the gunpowder?
Yes,
Okay, it looks different, right?
yes.
Thank you. Give me just one moment to review my notes. And just for completeness, do you also have a large amount of blank rounds in evidence?
Yes,
How many blank rounds do you think you have in evidence?
I would say probably close to 1,000.
And approximately how many gun belts do you have in evidence?
I believe 3,
And approximately how many guns do you have in evidence?
around 15 or 16.
And those are real functioning firearms?
Yes.
Bear with me. I'll pass the witness.
Thank
I don't get it.
it.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Now, I want to talk to you first about your
25
training
minutes
and your
ago.
job and what you've been trained on as a crime scene technician. Can you tell the jury a little bit about your training?
Yes, I have my bachelor's degree in forensics. I've had over 1,000 additional hours of in-classroom training over various different forensic areas such as blood pattern analysis, latent print analysis, crime scene reconstruction, those kinds of areas.
Okay, and has that included firearm and ammunition training and determining the difference between types of ammunition?
Not that specific, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
have-
require forensics.
What is the scope of your training you've had in determining different types of ammunition?
I mean, are you specifically referring to,
Calibers, 4440, 38, 45, you've been trained on recognizing the differences?
that I have, yes.
Okay. And how about recognizing the differences between dummy rounds, blanks, and live rounds?
I have not been to that type of training, no.
Okay. So your testimony earlier
are
when you were
also
talking about the dummy rounds and the various measurements and that, you have not been trained in that area.
So the other thing in addition to all that is like a 4440 is that's from the old West. The 4440 is also known as a 44 Russian. It was those are old, like she doesn't know those by looking at them unless you're familiar with firearms. So I think they could focus on that because this all centers around old school ammunition calibers. So, but yes, this is also good. She's not trained in forensic ballistics and firearms. She doesn't understand all this crap, so she's learning it like we are.
Okay. Now, part of your training in terms of verifying that a round is either a dummy or a live round is you need to send that to the FBI lab for confirmation. Would you agree with that?
Yes,
Because some of the dummy rounds appear like live rounds. They look like live rounds, correct?
yes,
In fact, the round that came out of the box we saw earlier that did not shake, you sent that off to the FBI lab because you wanted to confirm what that was, correct?
yes.
And part of the thing the FBI does
I mean,
is they take apart.
you could put it in a fucking bullet puller yourself. I mean, the idea they had to send it to the FBI is a little asinine. They couldn't send it to like the state police crime lab. All they do is take a bullet puller. It's this little thing. You put the bullet into it, you screw it on. I have one in my garage somewhere, and you smack it on a table. And guess what? The bullet pops off. Like you can look right away and immediately tell you what's inside the gun, inside the cartridge. So I think it's funny they had to send these to the FBI. Well, that's because she's not ballistically trained on how to do that.
The round and they determine if it has powder in it. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
And when they do that, that tells them basically if it's a live round or a dummy. Do you agree with that?
Assholes.
Yes.
So would you also agree in your training that you've never been taught that you can eyeball a dummy and determine if it's a dummy or
My child, hold on here real quick. You've heard me talk about all the things I talk about. Yes, I have reloaded in the past. I haven't lately, but yeah. It's also just so you know, you take like 25 ACP casings, you can reprime grenade fuse wells with those. So yeah. Yeah, I've done all kinds of fun stuff.
live, or eyeball a round and determine if it's a dummy or live.
no, I've not been trained in that area.
Okay. And you would also agree with me that you can't look at a picture of a round and determine necessarily if it's a dummy or live.
I would disagree with that.
And why would you disagree?
The rounds that have holes drilled into the side of them or the primers removed, appear to visibly be dummy rounds.
And those do. Now, how about the rounds that don't shake, don't have a hole in them, and you're looking at that? You can't tell just by looking at it that's live or dummy, correct?
Correct.
And that's why you sent that one off to the lab again, right?
Yes.
Now, I want to show you what's been marked as defense I. Now, show counsel.
Thank you. Here's the tie that went along with it.
You want me to approach the witness?
Is that the prosecutor up there with them? Yeah, it is. Oh, so they're gonna. That's actually nice. They're working together on this stuff. So, trying to avoid issues, I guess that's good on their part. I'm sure the judge told them they need to have this worked out ahead of time.
I am going to approach and see if you recognize this photo that we've just been talking about. I'm not going to introduce it, but I'm asking you.
Sure.
And this is defense I. If you could take a look at that.
It's defense. I.
Ma'am,
Can
do you
we
recognize
see
that photo?
you?
I do not.
Okay.
You
And
liar.
so you didn't take that photo?
No.
Okay. What is in that? I know we're not going to move to introduce it, but what is in this picture?
It appeared.
Hang on, I'm going to object. She's never seen the picture before. She didn't take the picture. I don't think she can answer that question without it being completely speculative.
And I'm just asking her to
Not
identify
true.
it.
Not true at all.
What is it? Not to go into detail.
I see a
but
picture of
what
a
is
dog. I
just
didn't
the-
remember taking it or
It's a
seeing it. I can tell you it's a dog.
I'm just asking.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gold, since you're cross, can't you just leave her in that question? And
I
then
can.
we don't get
Sure.
out in
I just
the
wanted her
weeds?
to say it. Yeah, that's fine. This is a picture with rounds in it in a box.
Yes.
Okay. And if I could have that back. Thank you. Okay, ma'am. So in terms of recognizing live versus dummy rounds, you would also agree with me that you have not been trained on the shininess of rounds and how that you can't tell a dummy or live from their shininess, right?
Correct.
And yesterday there was some talk about patine or patina on some of the rounds. Do you remember that?
Patina, you
And,
got
and
him.
actually, what that is just oxidation on the round case, correct?
Yes.
So, in other words, when a round sits around for long enough, oxygen interacts with the metal and it's just going to turn a little color, correct?
Yes.
And because oxygen does that to the outside of the round, you don't know whether that it doesn't matter whether there's a patina as to whether it's live or a dummy, correct?
Correct.
Because they have the same cases.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with regard to the FBI, there were several things that were sent to the FBI. You testified yesterday for testing, correct?
Yes.
And there was DNA testing requested on the revolver that was used by Mr. Baldwin, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that that was submitted?
Yes.
Now, yesterday you talked about somebody told you at the FBI that the live rounds could not be tested for DNA. You remember that?
Yes.
Who did you talk to specifically?
I don't recall who I specifically spoke to at the lab
Did you make that call?
to not send them.
No, did you make the call to the FBI personally?
Yes, I did, along with their representative for our area, who was Agent Cortez.
Cortez. Okay. Now,
Agent
were you aware
Cortez.
that we had requested those rounds, fingerprints and DNA be taken from them?
That you requested it?
Yes.
No.
There's going to be no
But you were never
DNA
told
on
them?
those.
Okay. And you're also aware that those live rounds were never tested for their fingerprints.
I was not aware of that. It was my understanding that they were tested for fingerprints.
Well, then you're not aware that I asked Detective Hancock to do that and it wasn't done? You're not aware of that?
Objection to the former question. He's asking for speculation. How does she know what he says to Detective
He's,
Hancock?
he's not asking her to speculate, but she's answering a question about whether you are aware. I don't know if this, I think you can follow up about why, what's the purpose of asking this witness about those things?
Yes. And yesterday you testified that these live rounds had been sent for fingerprints.
That was my understanding.
But that you didn't talk to Detective Hancock to see that she didn't do that?
It's my understanding that it got done.
Where's the report on that?
The FBI report on that?
Yes.
I would assume that the FBI would have it.
Okay. And are you familiar with that
Ooh.
report and Mr. Ziegler's report?
I am not
Okay. So you haven't read that recently?
not recently, no.
Okay. So you don't have firsthand knowledge that those live rounds were tested for fingerprints, correct?
Correct.
So you're just going on an assumption.
It
That's what you
was
understood.
the information that I had from the lab.
All right, just wait, all right?
I'm sorry. Your Honor?
I'm sorry to interrupt. He's sending things. Okay.
Oh,
No,
okay.
sorry to
Oh,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, I'm sorry. Your Honor. Okay. So again, that was just what you thought, but it wasn't. Anyway, we'll get into that with Detective Hancock. Okay. With regard to your role as a crime scene technician, you also took a series of photos of different scenes, correct?
Yes.
And that included the church,
Yes.
and that included the prop truck,
Yes.
and that included Seth Kinney's business PDQ, correct?
Yes.
With regard to the prop truck, do you recall when that search warrant occurred?
for the prop truck
Yes.
took place on October 27th.
And when did the search of Seth Kinney's PDQ business take place?
November 30th.
And then the incident on set, the shooting on set, that occurred October 21st, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So October 21st, the prop truck is searched 6 days later, is that correct?
Yes.
And then Seth Kinney's place is not searched for over a month, correct?
Yes.
So during that month period, you have no idea whether Mr. Kinney disposed of rounds or got rid of rounds. You have no idea whether that happened.
No.
Okay. And were you aware that Mr. Kinney had received rounds from the set of Yellowstone 1883?
Yes.
Because one of those things inside the shop said live 1883, correct?
Yes.
Now that, as I understand, that was empty at the time of the search warrant, correct?
No.
That canister was not empty?
The box marked live ammo 1883 is the only area we found live rounds.
Did he not have any other live rounds in that shop?
I don't believe so. No.
Because there were, and we'll show pictures in a little bit, but there were tons of ammunition boxes, correct?
Yes.
So did you search all of those boxes? Did you look into all those boxes?
I believe so. Yes.
Every one of them?
I can't be certain.
Okay, because there's a lot of them. You remember that? Yeah. Did you, in fact, just take Seth Kinney's word on what was live and what was not?
No, I know that boxes were dug through and it was a time consuming process.
Now, you didn't seize all of the rounds from that 1883 can, did you?
I collected the live rounds that were in the box marked 1883 that were 45 Colt.
Did you get all the 45 rounds from that canister?
Yes, all of the 45 rounds.
And did you ask him whether he had gotten rid of some of the rounds or used some of the rounds prior to you all getting there for the search?
I did not interview Seth Kenny.
Okay, so you don't know the answer to that?
No.
Okay. Now, earlier, you showed a picture of the Mary Kay bag. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And there was a box inside it with blue writing that we saw. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And it said something like dummy rounds 45 LC.
Yes.
And you know that that's Seth Kinney's box, correct?
Yes. I know.
Okay. And that box was found in the prop truck?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're not aware whether Sarah Zachary may have taken anything from the prop cart to the prop truck, or are you?
I do not know.
So if she had removed anything from the prop cart and taken it to the prop truck, you would not know that. Is that what you're telling the jury?
Correct.
So Seth Kinney's box, you have no idea whether that was on the prop cart, but it was moved to the prop truck, do you?
No.
Now, are you aware that you responded to the scene at the time of the shooting, right? Right after the shooting.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get there after?
It took me several minutes. We had a meeting in our criminal investigations division first before we all headed out to the scene.
How long did it take you after those several minutes to get to the scene?
I do not recall.
Was it 30 minutes? Was it an hour? How long was the drive?
Was, I would say, 30 minutes at most.
So when you got there, were you aware that other sheriffs had gotten there?
Yes.
At what time, how long after, if you know, did those sheriffs report
Much-
after the
much
shooting? How long did it
later,
take for
guys.
them to get there?
I do not know.
Okay. At the time you got there, did you see whether Mr. Baldwin was segregated in a vehicle?
I don't recall.
Did you see that Ms. Gutierrez was, though?
Yes, I recall her being in the vehicle.
Do you recall seeing Alec Baldwin talking on his cell phone and just walking around?
No, I don't recall that.
You haven't seen any pictures like that or video or anything like that?
In the following days in media, yes, I've
Okay.
seen him on the phone in photos.
So you're aware now, you can tell the jury he was not segregated.
I do not know.
Okay.
She has nothing to do
No.
with that. That's not relevant to
With
her.
regard to your work on set that day, you took pictures when you responded to the shooting. Did you do any interviews, anything like that?
No, I do
Never.
not interview.
Okay. And your job at that time as a crime scene technician is to secure the scene, secure the evidence. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Part of your goal in securing the evidence is to make sure that you get it right, you get the chain of custody right, and you make sure that's logged. Is that right?
Yes.
Why is the chain of custody so important?
The chain of custody is essentially the tracking of where the item originated from to who has possession of it now and everything in between.
It's got the
Okay.
chain.
And if there is a break in the chain of custody, that's a problem for you in terms of verifying that evidence, correct?
Yes.
Now, if before you got there, Miss Zachary had thrown rounds away and she had taken items from the prop cart to the prop truck, that could cause problems with the chain of custody, correct?
Well,
Yes.
if someone were to remove evidence from a scene, it wouldn't just cause problems for chain of custody. It would cause problems because we no longer have that evidence.
Correct. In fact, if you don't have evidence, it's lost. That's a serious problem in a case like this, correct?
Yes.
And this is a death investigation. So you would ideally want all of the evidence that might be relevant for a jury to see later, correct?
Yes.
Now, are you aware here that Miss Zachary actually threw those rounds away?
Beyond my scope of knowledge.
Okay. And again, we're talking about those getting thrown away. But now let's talk about if items were taken from that prop cart to the prop truck before you got there, would you agree that breaks the chain of custody? It disturbs the scene. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So in other words, when you get there and you take pictures of the prop cart, you wouldn't know if that's how it looked at the time of the shooting, would you?
No.
And we saw a picture of those boxes that went into Deputy Benavides' truck. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Now, later on, I know you put them back in the cart to take pictures, correct?
Yes.
So, and I know you weren't intending to do something, but when you placed them back, you have no idea if that was where they were before.
Ooh.
That was not the reasoning behind
Question.
placing them into the scene.
I understand, and I'm not trying to say you're reasoning a certain way. I'm just saying that you did not know when you placed them back for a picture that that's exactly where they were before.
Correct.
So when the jury looks at a picture of the prop cart now, they don't know if that's where those were at the time of the shooting. And that's not your fault. I'm just saying that that's a fact, correct?
Correct.
And in terms of evidence, when you're trying to, as a crime scene technician, you don't want people, for example, to reach across the crime scene tape and either grab evidence or put evidence on a cart, correct?
Correct.
Now, similarly, you would not want, as a crime scene technician, for an officer to handle a weapon with his bare hand. That wouldn't be ideal, would it?
No.
And in fact, you're trying to get DNA later and fingerprints, but did you see the camera of the Deputy Benavides that handled that weapon with his bare hand?
Yes.
Okay, and again, that's not ideal, is it?
No.
In terms of that, those rounds, you talked about the box, and you talked about different boxes that were found in that day, correct?
Yes.
Now, you have no idea whether Miss Zachary or Miss Gutierrez-Reed used those rounds on a day and then put them back in a different box, do you?
No.
So if you, for example, if these rounds were used the day before and they were changed out into a different box, you would have no way of knowing that, would you?
No.
So in other words, when we just went through on direct examination that these rounds came from this box and these rounds came from that box, you really have no idea where those rounds originated from, which box, do you?
My statements for where they originated at that time.
Yeah, so that was just that day. But my question is, you do not know if 3 days before these rounds were in that box and these rounds were in that box. Is that fair?
Yes.
No, and I'm not, well, when you say that the boxes were handed to Benavides, isn't it true that actually,
Guys, look, he's throwing bull hockey at her, but that's a very valid question. Like, when you put these pictures you're taking are the way you found them, but you have no idea if that's the way this stuff sit as part of the original crime scene. That's a very valid question. Like, these are not true and accurate. They're only accurate as to what you saw, but what you saw is not necessarily the way they were. So that's a very big thing. They're like, oh, the cart was disorganized. Okay, but to what extent? That's not a lie. That's a very valid question to ask. So I think that's very fair to do. Yeah, he's not going for innocent. He's going for reasonable doubt. And that's all he has to do.
he just grabbed those boxes?
I do not know.
Okay, so when you said they were handed to him, you really didn't know that?
No, that was the information that I was given.
Okay, but again, the lapel cam, everybody can watch it and see it, but for example, it doesn't look like anybody handed it to him. But you haven't seen it?
I'll just object to the former question. She's indicated that she knows.
No, you're right. No, she's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'll move forward on that. Now, I do want to show you some pictures that we're going to label, and I think by stipulation that we would ask these to be introduced. And if it's possible, if Mr. Bullion could.
J through N.
J through- J through what?
J through N.
M as in Mary?
N is in Nancy session.
All right, so we're moving for the admission. Do you have any objection?
I don't have any objection as long as they are certain that these are photos that Ms. Popple took.
That's fine.
Well, usually you would take the photos and see if she recognizes them.
There's quite a few, Judge. It'll be much faster to do it this way.
All right, if the state isn't objecting,
That's fine. Let's just show her what you have.
5 of them, right?
No, I think.
There's 5 sets of photos.
Oh.
Yeah, guys, iPhone doesn't let you join.
Okay, if
YouTube and
in a
iPhone are
submitted
fighting each
series
other.
of photos, you may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor, and we'll try to move fairly quickly through.
The jury can stand up and talk. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Which one do you want to start with?
Okay, if we can start with the photos from the Seth Kenny business.
From what I understand, that's their paralegal.
PDQ props.
Mr. Bowles, are you intending to admit every single photo there?
Yes.
Yes, but we don't want to show them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just going to kind of.
No problem.
Okay. And ma'am, can I first ask you, did you say that you had taken some of these photos or all of these photos?
Yes, all of these photos.
Okay. And again, this is from the search warrant of Seth Kenny's business in November? Okay.
Yes.
Now I want to say, just quickly, what is this shot?
This is the back alley entrance into the building.
Okay, next.
That same alley entrance.
Excuse me, can you say on the record which exhibit? It's J. You're in guessing. Okay. When you switch to K, let us know.
Yes.
When you switch
Shitty
to K, let us know.
pictures.
You can't get those pictures any bigger, just out of curiosity? I mean, it's up to you, but.
Yes, can we make those a little bigger, Mr. Bullion, if you could zoom in? Okay, and ma'am, did you say what that one was?
This is another angle from that back alley.
Okay, next.
Again, a different angle from the back alley. The gate leading into the back alley.
Now, is this how this looked? Okay, this one too. This is how this looked when you went in?
Yes,
Does that appear to be disorganized?
yes,
And again, this one is very disorganized?
yes.
Next one. What is this picture?
This is facing the entrance from where we came in.
Again, there's stuff everywhere. You agree with that?
Yes,
Okay, the next one. Okay, what is that one?
I believe this was a look into a closet.
Okay, and is there pizza boxes there?
Yes,
Did you know if he lived here too, Seth Kenny?
I do not.
Okay, and go to the next. All right, and is that the one, Mr. Blaine, with the rounds? If you can show that. Okay, what are these we're seeing?
These were boxes and boxes of ammunition.
And this is what I was kind of mentioning earlier. There was a lot of these, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and there was other places where these were. Okay, here are these more boxes,
yes,
and are these all different kinds of ammunition?
I believe so. Yes.
And again, I think you said you couldn't recall whether you all went through all those boxes.
No, I could not recall.
Okay, and keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, we're flipping kind of quickly, but what is this? This
That's not
machine?
this. Guys,
I
it's
believe
not
this was
that
a vice
bad.
that was sitting on a counter.
Okay, and then more ammo boxes.
Yes,
Now zoom in on this. Did you see any of them with the JS?
yes,
And you know that's a fairly common box. Have you seen that in Seth Kenny's business as well?
yes.
Now these ammo boxes in general, you're aware, aren't you, that they can be purchased off the internet for 25 or 10 bucks?
I don't know that. So.
Okay. I mean, but these are standard little white boxes. They're all over the place. Are you aware of that?
That they're standard white boxes. Yes.
Okay. And I mean, you're familiar with these, aren't you, in your job? You
With-
see these type of boxes?
I see ammo boxes, not necessarily all white ones with certain stamps on them.
Okay. Well, how often do you see JS?
Not a lot.
Okay. But you do see them from time to time.
Not that I recall.
Okay. Well, there's a lot there.
Well, yes, in this case, there were a lot of JS boxes, but in my 7 years crime scene tech, I haven't seen a lot of JS boxes.
Do you know what JS is?
No.
Okay. Okay. Next one. And again, we got 32 Smith & Wesson, 22. These are more ammo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next.
More-
Again, the JS. Is that the JS there?
Yes.
Okay. If you can move forward. Okay. And what are these?
These are spent casings.
Do you see the primer, how it's dented?
Yes.
What is the significance of that?
That means that this round has been fired, so a firing pin has created that indent in this casing.
Are you aware that there's a thing where a primer can be slightly dented, and then if it was struck again, it could go off? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not sure what you're referring
Well,
to.
light
If
primer
a
strike.
hammer hits a primer and it doesn't strike it hard enough, it can create a small indentation or dent in that, correct?
Object. I think this is pretty far outside her scope of expertise, and we've got plenty of other witnesses who can. answer
Sure,
these
we
questions.
do.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
we
move
do. Okay. If you can move to the next picture, Mr. William. And then again, what are, just, if you give the jury just an idea of what these are, is that more ammo?
Yes.
And again, that's and that one in particular was just in a gray tub.
Yes.
Okay, and the next one. What are some of these pictures?
This was the front
Okay,
room area.
Oh, that is actually a disaster zone.
Again, is that more ammo boxes in this particular picture?
Yes.
Okay, and again, is that a JS notation?
Yes.
Okay, and you can move forward, please, Mr. William. Okay, when you go back one, is that a gun belt?
Yes.
You go forward. And again, more ammo?
Yes.
Okay, and we've seen enough of those, unless you have anything in particular, but we get the flavor of those. If you can move to church pictures?
Oh, is that K now?
There's a couple that are different.
Okay, go ahead, put those up.
We're still in J.
Okay, what is this picture?
This was a box that was located marked live ammo 1883.
And again, that was what we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Okay, and what is this one?
This is an overview of where that box was located.
And finally, what is this one?
This is what was inside of that box.
Okay, and there's several, in that live ammo, there's several boxes here, correct?
Yes,
What was that, what were those that said lead?
I don't recall.
Okay, you don't recall what was inside those?
No,
They're labeled various types. Did you go through all those?
yes.
But you can't tell the jury today what was in them?
I don't recall what was in them. I only collected 45 live rounds out of this box.
Okay, and here's 45 LC, is that right?
Yes,
What are those loose rounds around it?
those were, I believe some of them were live 45 rounds.
Okay, were those collected?
Yes.
And how about these?
This was a close-up of what was in that box marked 45 LC.
Okay. And you know what is in this picture?
This was a green ammunition box that was located.
And these appear to be more dummy rounds, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, if we can move to K.
Is there going to be some kind of demarcation so that we know which is J, which is K?
Yes, Your Honor, we need to go back and make sure that that's demarcated. We'll do that. Well, while we're finding that, I have a couple more questions. The round you talked about in Government or States 49 earlier that had ball bearings in it that didn't shake or apparently were stuck inside, do you recall that?
Yes.
And that was the one you sent out to the FBI lab?
Yes.
So that would have been a round potentially on set that didn't rattle.
Yes.
And that so that would have been a round potentially on set that did not rattle, correct?
Yes.
But you had to send that off to the FBI lab for confirmation to determine that, correct?
Yes.
And that's not something either Ms. Zachary or Ms. Gutierrez-Reed had the luxury of on the set, did they?
No.
Okay. We also heard yesterday Ms. Morrissey shook a round into the microphone. You remember that?
Yes.
And asked everybody if they could hear it?
Yes.
Again, that's not something Ms. Zachary or Ms. Gutierrez-Reed had the luxury of on set, did they?
Of rattling around?
Of having a microphone so they can rattle it and have everybody hear on a microphone.
No, they didn't have a microphone. Then.
Okay. Okay, do you have the church pictures ready?
Yeah.
Can we put those up? Can you just quickly tell us kind of what we're looking at here? Is this David Halls?
I don't know who the individual in the back is. I was taking a photograph of the back of Mr. Baldwin.
Okay, so earlier, did you tell me you didn't see Mr. Baldwin?
This was the only interaction I had with him was photographing what he was wearing and then taking the clothing that he had on.
Okay, well then you knew when you photographed him, he wasn't segregated in a car.
Well, when I photographed him, he wasn't. I have no idea what he was doing before or after that.
Well, right then he's standing outside. How long did you see him?
My interaction with him was probably less than 10 minutes.
Your Honor, she's indicated that she has no idea whether he's segregated or not, and we have plenty of other witnesses that can reasonably answer this question.
That's okay. He can ask that question and I
And
think
then
he
I'll
got
move
the
forward.
answer.
Yes, I'll move forward. Okay, okay, so ma'am, what is this?
This is the outside of the church.
Okay, and this one?
Another angle of what's outside the church.
Do you know what the card is that we just saw?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. The card that's in the photo now.
Yeah, just we went by it. If you could go, go the other way. This one.
That was one of multiple equipment carts that was located outside.
And when you say equipment cards, were these? So these were on set productions cards when you got there.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. And what is that? That big structure in the back of that photo?
Are you talking about the small structure? Or are you talking about the white structure?
The white structure.
I believe that was the prop truck.
Okay. And do you see that appears to be outside of the crime scene tape?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and these are more photos of the church. Is that right?
That's I mean, like, once again, just like the cart being messed with, the prop truck is out where people can freely enter it and leave it, and all the guns were in the prop truck. Ooh. Some evidentiary issues are trying to drum up here.
Yes.
Okay. What is that next?
The prop truck search warrant.
Oh, prop truck. Okay, can we put those up? And this prop truck search was this, October 27th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bowden, what is the letter?
This one is M.
M as in Mary.
Okay, just a minute. Did we finish K now or?
Yes.
Okay, well, all right, so we went into K. You didn't tell us when we went into L.
I apologize, Your Honor. All the church photos were L that we just saw.
All right, let's make sure that when you send them to the jury, they have them properly marked, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All
Yes.
right, M.
Okay, this is M as in Mary, this series. Now, what is this here?
This is the outside of the prop truck.
And move if you can. This is the exterior and side of the truck.
Yes.
And what is this picture of?
This is the side door entrance into the truck.
And this is the interior?
Yes.
Okay, and this is a gun belt in the interior of that truck?
Yes.
And what are these we're seeing now that we're zooming in?
This in particular is a 45 LC ammo box.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you guys have some questions here. I'm going to try to answer them real quick. Sean Bird saying, if Hannah Reed is found guilty, would that be better or worse for Alec? I think at this point, if they can't convict Hannah, then Alec Baldwin will not be convicted himself. I can tell you that much. That's what I'm thinking. This is the dry run. And if they can't get her, they're not going to prosecute him. So that is something people should be cognizant of. All right. Very good question. I passed on 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So there are a couple of super chats that we need to get through real quick. Unknown Hero for $10 says, "Oh, I'm gonna come." Well, don't come. Don't come. And then,
All right, we're going to take our morning break.
real quick, you know, we'll leave it running.
Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Thank you.
All rise.
You know, I get Tilly's question, and you know, Altheimer for $10. Thank you, is saying I like Tilly's question. You know, would you knock a lawyer for hiring a freak show to sit next to you as paralegal to make sure people don't look at your client? Well, they're going to look towards her, so they're going to look at your client anyway. No, that's just, you know, they hired somebody.
Alright,
She's
be
a little
seated.
eccentric.
As a reminder, you all need to have your badges. That's, you know, Barry Massey and Beth Wojan went to a lot of trouble to prepare them, to get you in, and you need them when you come in here, okay? All right, very good. Thank you.
They got badges. Judge is very mad people aren't wearing their badges. She speaks like she got a Werther's in her mouth, the judge. So people don't get your client. I get that idea, but she's sitting next to your client, so yeah, they're still going to look at you. Yeah, she's just an eccentric person. Sean says, would Alec Baldwin testify at all? I mean, they could call him, but he should plead the fifth if he were to be called. So no, they wouldn't. He's a co-defendant anyway. That would be very improper. Anyway, Young Forever says, if your paralegal interrupted your testimony, what would you do? Well, I don't have a paralegal, so nothing. Like I said, if she's found guilty, I think that's a determining factor whether or not Alec Baldwin continues to get charged, because without that, I think he walks. Like if she walks, he's not going to get charged. Like they'll drop it all. Then there's a yeah, this kind of goes off what you were asking, Sean. If Hannah Reed's found guilty, that'd be better for Alec or worse. She's found guilty, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Actually, what I think is a legitimate defense. The state has a problem with the custody, chain of custody, the chain of evidence, the credibility, reliability of the evidence, and they just can't prove it. They can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, remember, like I said, this is to get a conviction, the state is kicking the equivalent of a field goal. Either you make it or you don't. If you fall short, that's it. If it bounces off the pole, that's it. There is no, oh, you got close enough, so it's good enough. No, this isn't curling. This isn't bocce ball. They have to make it through the uprights, and there's nothing wrong with just letting them kick and then know they're going to miss and then call it out of bounds. And call it no good. So That's what I think the ultimate strategy here is. I mean, I'm sure if things happen, they might have their other ones ready to go, but that's certainly there. Let's see here. You said I had 2 things today. Yes. The first one went very well. We won. Not a common thing in these types of cases, so it was a very good day in that regard. My client was very, very thrilled. She won. And then the second one wasn't juicy. It was just like another thing to do. It was okay because it ended up not being a big deal. And then I signed a client this morning, so a client retained me, so I had to meet with them and talk to them, and they retained me. So that part was good. Yes, I'm my own paralegal, secretary, investigator, coffee guy, everything. So, yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun this morning and we won, so hopefully there's some good results going forward. No, I do not have a deer stalker hat. I do have a Sherlock Holmes hat. Come on, let's go. Geez, how long are their breaks?
Bill,
The
individual.
N is in Nancy series?
N.
All right, guys, here we go. Starting back up.
Uh,
And I will individually label each of them.
okay, so what happened to the M's? Because we just started with the M's and then I interrupted you, so,
We're done with that discussion.
okay, all right, I understand.
And those will be labeled as well. Your Honor. Yeah. Okay, ma'am, can you see that photo which is N as in Nancy 1?
No.
You can't see it? Oh,
There's nothing on my screen.
okay.
So, like, I'll find things out and figure things out and interview people preliminarily. And then if it turns into a situation where we need to do something and have a third party involved, I'll get a third party involved. But no, I got to do there's a lot of door knocking, a lot of phone calls, a lot of trying to figure evidence out. So, yeah, that happens. A lot of knocking on doors.
Okay. If you could please tell the jury what that is.
This was a gun belt that was located in the prop truck.
Okay, and N2.
A different angle of that gun belt.
Okay, and how about N3?
I had a children's services hearing this morning and we won the hearing. So the agency isn't allowed to keep the agency. They did not find that the mom was negligent or dependent. So, we won. So that's good. And then within 14 days, the kid will probably be returned. So that's the good news. That's the good news for today. Yay.
This is a close-up of some of the rounds that were in that belt.
Okay, and do you see different types of rounds in that belt in terms of the head stamps?
I believe in this case, in this photo, they all look the same.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you N4, and what is that?
That's that same photo, but a little clearer. It's not as blurry.
And are those primers, what color are those primers?
Those are silver.
Okay. And how about N5?
This is a different area of the gun belt close-up.
And it has, I see 45 Colt rounds, is that correct?
Yes.
And some silver primers?
Yes.
Now, were any of these on N5 determined to be live?
No.
Okay. So these are dummy rounds with silver primers.
Yes.
How about N6?
This is a different angle of that gun belt.
N7?
A different angle of that gun belt.
And is that the same with N8?
Yes.
Okay. And what is N9?
This is a close-up of the brand marking that was on the belt.
And what is N10?
I believe these were the rounds that were in the belt that were removed from it.
And they all have that, what you called yesterday, that patina?
Yes, that darkening on the casing.
Okay. And how about N11?
This is those same rounds with the Spain Denix round removed.
The Spain Denix round was the round that didn't shake.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And N12?
This is a close-up of the silver primer on those rounds.
How about N13?
This was a box of ammunition that was taken from the prop truck.
Okay. N14?
A close-up of some of the writing on that box.
Okay. N15?
Those boxes removed from the cardboard box.
All right. And N16, is that just one of the boxes?
Yes.
N17, what is the significance of that photo?
This was the writing on the outside of that box.
And that has the JS also?
Yes.
And what is N18?
This is the styrofoam insert removed from that box.
N19?
A close-up of a different cardboard box with ammunition from the prop truck.
Okay. What is N20?
This is an overall of the Mary Kay bag from the prop truck
Okay. And again, we see in the middle of that Seth Kenny's box with the writing.
with the blue writing that states dummy rounds 45 LC.
Okay. Again, N21 appears to be a similar picture. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And N22, that is just another picture of a box.
Yes.
Okay. And N23?
That box with the styrofoam removed from it.
Okay. And what is N24?
These were items taken out of the Mary Kay bag and laid out.
Okay. What is that on the top left? What is that item?
My apologies. Your left.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have thought about that. It's on my left. It's as you're looking at it up on that screen, it's the top left, right above the insert.
I believe it was a bracket of sorts that was bent.
Okay. And then on the far right top, is that just a cloth of some sort?
I believe that was one of the sock covers for the firearms.
Okay. And can you tell the jury about that? Did they keep these firearms in a sock cover?
Some of the firearms were kept in sock covers, is what they were referred to as.
Okay. And are you familiar with those sock covers?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. Let me go on to N25. Again, is that the same kind of photo of the gun, sock, and then the other two items you have there?
Yes.
And what is the significance of the Q-tips?
They were in the bag, and I was documenting everything that was inside that bag.
How about N26? Again, we see an insert from a box. Is that right?
Yes.
N27, what is that photo?
This is a close-up of the center of the Mary Kay bag.
N28 is just a picture of another box. Is that right?
Yes.
Any significance to this particular box?
I took photographs of every single box of ammunition before it was opened and then after it was opened.
Okay, ma'am, and that was from the prop truck? You did
Yes.
that? Okay. And N29, again, is that Seth Kenny's box with the blue writing?
Yes.
N30, what is that photo?
This is the inside of that box and the rounds that were inside of it.
Okay. And these rounds have silver primers as well?
Yes.
And I think you indicated 16 were dummies?
They were all dummies.
All dummies. One was suspected live.
One was unknown, which is why it was sent to the FBI.
Okay, that was the one that did shake.
Yes.
And again, you don't know these rounds that are in this insert right now, you don't know if they were in there 5 days before October 21st.
No.
You have no way to know. N31, is that same picture?
Yes.
And N32?
These are those rounds removed from the foam and laid out for photographs.
And same thing on N33?
A close-up of the bottom of those rounds.
And N34?
I believe this is a close-up of those rounds in the box.
Okay. And I have no further questions on those exhibits. And that's all the questions I have.
Do you want to read it?
Uh, 100% that's a very real possibility. I mean, she fucks herself really bad. That's why you don't talk. Had she not, she has a very good chance of walking. She's still got a decent chance. I think her attorneys are going to make some hay. Hi, as gay horses would say. But right now, she's still behind the curve, I would argue. So, very flattering shot, too, by the way, Hannah. Hey, McKinley, I see you're there. I'm going to send you a link if you're at all available. And I'll also square you up with the Discord if you
Ms.
really
Pablo,
want it.
you were asked a series of questions about the search of PDQ props. So I'd like to ask you some questions about that. Hang on, let me get myself situated with my notes. Hang on just a second, I'm missing something. When you participated in the search of PDQ props, did law enforcement officers assist you?
Yes.
How many people were present, if you recall, at the search of that location?
Myself, Detective Hancock, and Sergeant Christopher Zook.
And it looked like there was a lot of stuff in there. Is that right?
Yes.
But what's your understanding of what kind of business PDQ is?
That they provide props to movie sets.
Do they have to have props to provide props to movie sets?
Yes. That would make sense.
Did the entire business appear to be full of movie props?
Yes.
Okay. And the live ammunition that you found was just that one box, is that right?
Yes.
And when I say the one box, the gray box that had boxes in it,
Yes. Marked as 1883.
and it was marked clearly as live.
Yes.
And that was the only live ammunition you found there.
We'll talk about
Yes.
that later.
And Mr. Bowles asked you and showed you some photos of ammunition that was at PDQ that had the JS on the label. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did you find any 45 long Colt dummies when you were doing your search of PDQ props?
I don't recall.
Would it help you if you looked at your report?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you take a minute and look at your report? Did that refresh your memory?
Yes. There was at least a gun belt that had dummy ammunition in it.
Other than that gun belt, did you find any boxes of 45 long Colt dummies?
I believe so, yes.
You do.
There were, you know what, I apologize, it's not specified in my report if there were additional dummies specific to 45 long Colts located. Our intent was only to find live ammunition at that point.
That was the reason you were searching it.
Yes.
Okay. Did you find any boxes, if you recall, and if not, because it wasn't the focus of your search, that's fine, just tell us. Did you find any boxes of ammunition that match the one that's on your screen?
I don't recall.
If you were to, not that I'm going to ask you to do it now, don't worry. If you were to take some time and review all of the photos that you took at PDQ, do you think that would help you answer that question?
Yes.
Okay, great. And it's my understanding, based on your cross-examination testimony, that in terms of the live ammunition, you only collected 45 caliber ammunition.
Yes.
Was there other caliber live ammunition?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the 45 long Colt live ammunition that you collected that we looked at photos of, that's the only live ammunition that was there.
Yes.
Okay. You were asked some questions on cross-examination about, you wouldn't know if Sarah Zachary moved evidence from the prop cart to prop truck. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
And let me ask you, do you know whether Ms. Gutierrez ever took anything out of the prop truck before it was searched?
No, I do not know.
Mr. Bowles asked you some questions about whether you've received any training in how to distinguish dummy rounds and blank rounds from live rounds. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you indicated you haven't received that training. Is that right?
Correct.
So in your experience, are movie set crime scenes very common?
No.
Do you have training in guns and ammunition?
Yes, I do.
And are you capable of measuring things?
Yes.
So without specific training, you are capable of measuring the 6mm projectile or the 4mm projectile, because you can use a ruler, right?
Yes.
And you did that in this case.
Yes.
And are you capable of distinguishing brass primers from silver primers?
Yes.
Are you capable of distinguishing different shaped projectiles?
Yes.
Based on your work on this case, how do you tell?
So yes, can you sort shapes? Yes. So you can act like a 5-year-old? Yes. That's not impressive. You can do what a 5-year-old can do. You're not selling like because that's what I immediately get him to say. Can a 5-year-old sort shapes and differences? Yeah. So you're not that special.
A dummy round from a live round.
In this case in particular, when a large amount of the dummy rounds, when shaken, would have a rattle to it instead of having gunpowder inside of it.
But you didn't know all of them.
So specifically, what about that tells you that they're dummies and not live ammunition?
Well, live ammunition has gunpowder inside of it, so you would not hear that kind of noise.
Because you don't have BBs in with the gunpowder.
Correct.
Okay. And the other dummy rounds, how were you able to distinguish them from the live rounds?
There were holes drilled through the sides of them.
I mean, this isn't rocket science, right?
Right.
This is pretty easy.
Yes.
And you actually,
We'll
just
talk
to be
about that in a
safe,
second.
you sent some dummy rounds to the FBI, right?
Yes.
Did any of the dummy rounds that you sent to the FBI come back as live rounds?
No.
Did you? But you also did not check every single round in that building. You didn't check them all. You gotta catch them all. You didn't. So, how many of them did you check? Well, a couple, but not all of them. I think he's waiting for that. If he's smart, I'd do that.
In terms of the dummy rounds that you have in evidence, how many dummy rounds don't rattle and don't have a hole in the side?
2.
Thank you. 2 out of how many?
250.
When you were at PDQ doing the search, is there a specific reason that you were only looking for 45 caliber rounds?
My understanding was that was the restriction of the search warrant.
Based on your understanding of the investigation, why are 45 caliber rounds significant and others not significant?
Because all of the live rounds that were located on set were 45 rounds.
And to be clear, let's talk for a moment about the live ammunition that you collected from PDQ.
Ghostery, no, we have not. And I
What color were the primers
thank you for being
There
here.
were silver
Welcome.
and brass primers collected from PDQ.
in terms of the live ammunition?
Yes.
And do you have photographs of the live ammunition that has silver primers?
Yes, I believe I do.
Okay. I may have to have you come back. We may talk about that. I don't want to hang us up today.
Almost like hentai, shantai.
Did all of the live rounds that you collected from PDQ, let me ask it this way. Did any of them look identical to the live rounds found on set?
No.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Just with this witness.
Oh, yes. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
oh, that's okay. Okay, thank you.
The state will call Christopher Zook.
Basically, Judge, raise your hand.
Do you swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you'll give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Have a seat. Talk into the microphone, please.
Go ahead and state your full name for the record.
Christopher Zook.
And Mr. Zook, how are you currently employed?
I am currently retired.
And where did you retire from?
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office.
And back on October 21st, 2021, how were you employed?
I was a sergeant for the Sheriff's Office in the Criminal Investigations Division.
And in that capacity, did you become involved in the investigation regarding the shooting on the Moody set rest?
I did.
I want to ask you specific questions. Did you participate in a search of the prop truck?
I did. And
were firearms located in the prop truck?
Yes,
Where were they located?
in a safe.
Were they removed from the safe?
Yes, by CST or the criminal specialist Popple.
The lady that just
Yes,
left.
the one that just left. Yeah, she was the one that unloaded or took him out of the safe.
When she took him out of the safe, what'd you do with them?
So it was a large box truck that the safe was in. And I was standing outside of the box truck at the back of it. And she would take them out and put them on the bed of the floor of the truck at the opening of the back door. And then we would clear them and then take them into evidence.
All right, is it freezing up for you
Okay.
guys too?
So you were responsible for clearing the firearms.
Yes.
That was not Ms. Popple's job.
No. Well, there was a couple of us that was making sure that they were unloaded and cleared and all that stuff because we don't want a loaded firearm in our evidence locker.
Sure. And did you come across a lever action rifle?
I did.
And tell us about that.
I do not remember the make and
Okay, guys, I'm
model of
gonna
it. It was a lever
switch over
action
to
rifle.
Core TV in a
Uh,
second.
The way I was unloading the lever actions, they were
All right, 238.54. We're gonna. Sorry, I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Oh, that's weird. Though they called a mid-morning break. Oh, they listed out like that. So we'll just get this guy started right here.
Whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, have a seat, talking to the microphone.
Where were they located?
in a safe.
Were they removed from the safe?
Yes, by CST or the criminal specialist Popple.
The lady that just
Yes,
left.
the one that just left. Yeah, she was the one that unloaded
Oh, I
took him out of the
saw
safe.
on Twitch, I think.
When she took them out of the safe, what'd you do with them?
So it was a large box truck that the safe was in, and I was standing outside of the box truck at the back of it, and she would take them out and put them on the bed of the floor of the truck at the opening of the back door, and then we would clear them and then take them into evidence.
Okay. So you were responsible for clearing the firearms.
Yes.
That was not Ms. Popple's job.
No. Well, there was a couple of us that was making sure that they were unloaded and cleared and all that stuff because we don't want a loaded firearm in our evidence locker.
Sure. And did you come across a lever action rifle?
I did.
And tell us about that.
I do not remember the make and model of it. It was a lever action rifle. The way I was unloading the lever actions, they were a
Like
little style
some
gun.
sort of
I did
Winchester.
not know where the magazine or the tube was on that. So what I was doing is just going through the motion of the lever action and having the rounds eject.
Show us what you mean when you say going through the motion of a lever action for those of us that don't know what that means.
Do you mind if I sound?
Sure.
Okay. So a lever action rifle, it's right there by the trigger. There's just a little, it's a lever, and you just rack it back and forth, and it will take it from the magazine and put it into the tube. And then when the when the round is spent, you do it again and ejects it. And then while you're coming back, it will reload another round. That makes sense?
Yes.
So you have to do the action, a lever action.
And when you're doing the lever action, do the rounds inside just fly out?
They eject out. They're supposed to.
Okay. And that's what you were doing to unload it.
Yes.
Were you able to unload that gun?
No, not all the way. I believe I was able to unload at least a round or two, and then there was a round that was jammed.
And do you know what caliber of ammunition that lever action rifle took?
There was a 44-40
And do you know why it was jammed?
because the round that was in it was a 45, which is just like very slightly bigger.
Okay. It was enough to jam the
Yeah,
rifle.
that is correct.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, sir, are you familiar with those types of Henry rifles?
I'm not.
And so you're not aware that you don't have to lever that to extract the rounds?
I do now, but at the time I did not know that.
Okay, so now you're aware that you don't have to work the lever to get those rounds out.
Correct. On the end of the tube or the magazine that I found out later on, we had our gun expert at the sheriff's office. His name is Deputy Steve Orr. I had him come into our ammunition room, which is covered in cinder blocks. So if it did go off, people are safe. And he showed me actually at the end of the tube, there was a part where you just twist and the rounds came out. So I know now, but at the
Okay.
time I did not.
Okay, so at the time you're working the lever, but later you learn you can just twist that and they'll fall out.
Correct.
Okay. Now you knew after the gun expert got it out, it was a dummy round.
I'm going to guess if I say yes or no on that one. So
Okay,
I'm
don't
not
guess.
gonna- yeah.
No, don't guess. So you weren't aware one way or another whether it was a dummy or another type of round.
No, I handed it off to our evidence technician, and she was going through all the rounds to see if they were dummies or not.
Okay, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Were you present when Deputy Orr was removing the ammunition from that gun?
Yes.
Did the 45 caliber round come out easily?
No, it was actually jammed in the barrel of the
Guys,
gun.
sorry, Core
So
TV doesn't
once
have captions up on
Deputy
this.
Orr showed me, hey, this is how you do it. We were able to take a couple rounds out, and the round was big enough it would not eject out of the ejection port. So we actually had to manipulate the round down into the tube, and then it eventually came out of the tube. So it did still fit into the tube, the magazine, but not into the barrel itself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was jammed in the barrel.
Yes.
Okay. So even when you were there with Orr, and you were doing it the easy way, unloading it with his knowledge, that round still didn't want to come out.
No, we had to manipulate it to get it out.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
May I ask one more question? So I don't have to recall them for this.
No objection.
Sir, just one last question. When you levered it, that jammed the 45 round in the barrel?
Yes, yes. So I know there was at least a round. I don't remember if there was more than that. I know there was at least a round. So when I chambered it, that
Oh,
round
so
got ejected, and then that 45
he
round
did
came
it.
from the tube and went to the barrel, and that's where
Oh,
I freaked out. I thought I thought I damaged the gun.
Okay.
But once I started trying to get it out, it wasn't even grabbing to get it out or anything. So it did jam it. So I did jam it, but I guess, assumed that all the rounds that were in it were the correct rounds.
Yes, sir. Okay.
that would be a taking under the Fifth Amendment because they destroy property. So that's the funny part.
Thank you.
All right, you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next witness.
Oh, state calls Brian Litzinger.
Also, real quick, so guys, with the lever actions, it's going to be some sort of Winchester derivation. I know one of you here, real quick, is name of some sort says that Henry. I mean, if this is set like in the 18, like this is set well into the 18s, like the late half of the 18th century, like post Civil War. You don't run into as many Henrys as you get going further and further and further. You run into more Winchesters than anything. No, there are a lot of Henrys floating around out there, but I don't think there would have been any Henrys on set. I mean, a lot of Winchesters were pretty much running the show at that point. Besides the Henry, you'd have to learn how to do the Henry hop and move your hand over the follower. Kelly R for $5. Besides, lever action guns are cool as shit. Like at some point in the future, I want to get I'm not worried about them because they're not going to get banned. So I want to get some cowboy action guns, and a lever action gun would be a lot of fun because you can get them like pistol calibers, and you could shoot 1,000,000 rounds out of them. Kelly for $5 though. Thank you, Kelly. He says, I don't know how I feel about this trial, but thank you for the stream. I'm leaning towards acquittal. Yeah, right now there's no. They don't ever dead to rights. When they play the video, though, I'm sure things are going to change. But yeah, for right now, she's still okay. Job well done says most lawyers don't know about guns. Oh, there was a Marlin. Okay. Yes, 19th, not 18th. My bad, Yamaha. You're right.
Face the judge, raise your hand. Stand up, sir. Stand up.
Sorry. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, have a seat talking to the microphone.
Go ahead and state your name, sir.
My name's Ryan Litzinger.
Ryan, I'm sorry. I thought it was Brian. I apologize.
That's
Mr. Litzinger, how are you currently employed?
I am employed as a videographer and editor with a production company in Albuquerque.
And tell us about that production company in Albuquerque. What do you do?
So we are, we outfit productions with crew, camera, lighting, sound, DPs,
What's a DP?
director of photography. And we're also a rental house, so we also rent equipment.
Did you, I'm sorry.
Crewing as well. So like staffing different productions.
Okay. You help provide crew members.
Yes,
Okay.
to different productions. And, like I said, also a rental house.
Okay. At any point in time, were you asked to do any work on the set of Rust?
Yes.
What work were you asked to do?
So we were asked to, we were contracted to do duties of an EPK, which is stands for electronic press kit, which is something that a lot of productions have.
Give us more information. We don't know what an EPK is or why.
Okay, so basically there are days that are, reserved for behind the scenes, and there's also days that are reserved for cast interviews, and that together makes an EPK. And what the production company will do with that is up to them.
Okay. So specifically, what did you do on this film? And if you can tell us what dates you did it.
So October 13th, 2021 and October 15th, 2021, we shot behind the scenes footage and also captured production audio
Okay.
together. And we also conducted cast interviews.
Okay. And in terms of the, I'm not so interested in the interviews, but in terms of the behind the scenes footage, describe to us, what are you filming and why? Are you just filming?
So a lot of the time we try to get just the action in between action and cut is when a lot of times, you'll see directors planning what they want to do next, talking to the actors, wardrobe changes, audio, tweaks, anything like that. And that's really important for, people that are interested in watching the making of, or, whoever kind of gets this footage, you know what I mean? That's interesting to them. So yeah, that's what happens on behind the scenes. We try to focus on, the DP, the director of photography, the director, and the actors. I mean, that's a lot of what we do.
So you're not actually filming clips for the movie. You are filming the actors and the crew working on the movie set.
Yes. Sometimes, yes, a majority of what we do is we film the actors and the crew on set working and doing their jobs. But sometimes we're at a place called Video Village, which is basically a setup where, people watch the scene that's being filmed, and we will sometimes shoot that. So it's just video of the actual movie being filmed. Sometimes we'll be there.
Understood.
Like Inception, it's a
But
movie.
even
of a
when you're
movie.
filming in Video Village, you're filming people working.
Yes, they're working as well. Yes.
You're showing the director of photography looking at the monitor and seeing what is being filmed.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
Mhm.
And I think that some of this will make more sense a little later on. Go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I was going to say if I'm not.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Just for people who aren't familiar with what you do, because I'm not going to show the videos today. We're going to show them later in the trial. Did I subpoena videos from you?
Yes.
And did you provide me all of the videos that you made on the set of Rust?
Yes.
And recently, did I send some of them back to you for you to review?
Yes.
How many videos did I send back to you for you to review?
I counted 17.
Do you recall approximately how many videos you sent me in response to my subpoena?
I do not.
Can you estimate? Can you give us an estimate?
It could be over 100.
Okay,
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
I would have to, I didn't count, but
it's okay.
it could be over 100.
Okay. I'm happy with your answer, but if I can show you what you sent me.
Oh,
if
do you have a
want me
number?
to. I don't have the number, but I have all your files.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you'll just give me a moment to switch gears here.
I'd actually like to know what the real number is.
No problem. May I approach? You can just approach it. That's right, yeah. I can't see anything with my glasses. Does this file look familiar?
Mhm.
Oh, that's the 17th.
Mhm.
Forget that. Okay. Do you see how they're numbered?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
And then,
That's about.
It's an industry guys, so it's technically an industry term, but that's what I think too. Yes, videotape town. But yes, what he's doing is called B-roll footage, as my illustrious producer wanted to inform you guys of. So maybe they filmed Hannah with her cocaine.
did seeing the electronic files that you provided me refresh your memory?
Yeah, I mean, just about how much
Yeah.
the content there was. 'Cause
How
it
many
was a long day.
videos? How many videos did you give me?
She's down the
126.
hall.
Okay, thank you. And the 17 videos that I sent back to you for you to review, Do you recognize those videos when you looked at them?
Yes,
And are those the videos that you filmed?
yes.
And those specific 17 videos, what day did you film those videos?
That was October 13th, 2021.
Thank you. So what I would like to do at this point in time is I would like to move for the admission of all videos from production outfitters that the court deems relevant and admissible as we move through the trial.
No objection.
All right, these will be of the 17.
Minor of the 17, I think the defense does have some that
Oh,
they
okay.
are intending to
Fine.
admit also.
Sorry, okay.
So this is kind of a joint
Yes,
admission.
yes, per stipulation, we'll do it this way, and I will so admit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I pass the witness. Oh, sorry, Ryan, not so fast.
First time here, huh?
Cross-exam.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being with us, and I don't have any questions for you. You mentioned Video Village. How exactly does that work? What is that?
That's an external monitor that is separate from the cameras that are being used by the film crew. It's separate so that they can watch that. The director and the director of photography can watch what's happening separately.
Okay. And are you generally familiar with film sets and things like Video Village and whatnot?
I see quite a few of them.
All right. When that kind of system goes down, how do people have to adapt on set?
When a system like Video Village will go down,
Uh huh.
I haven't seen it go down, but I would imagine that they would probably.
Hang on, I'm going to object because I think it's speculative at this point, but I also think that there are going to be plenty of witnesses who can talk about what they did in fact when it went down.
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Did you witness any scenes actually being shot when you were on set?
Yes.
Did the scenes involve Mr. Baldwin?
Yes.
Did he seem to be in command of those scenes?
Objection, foundation.
Judge, he said he saw it.
Overruled.
Yeah, what did it appear to you?
Well, the one that sticks out, he wouldn't have been in command because I think that it seemed that he was on a horse and he was playing dead. So it wasn't really much of a.
Okay. And what I'm talking about,
Great spoiler alert. Thanks, bro. Thank you. Now I'm not gonna watch Russ. Apparently he dies. Son of a bitch.
more so is, in insofar as the pace of filming
Mhm.
and things like that, did he seem to have an influence on that?
Sorry.
Hang on just a second.
Prosecutor's up there. Your Honor, he spoiled the movie for everyone. He's the bad man now. We want to charge him. Is he using his phone? Yeah, you could. Why not? I could take notes on a phone and use it. Maybe he found something on there. I don't know. Or maybe he's just staring at some like anime chick getting railed by a horse and he's like, oh yeah. And they ask questions. I don't know. Probably there's some notes on there or something he's doing. First, Hannah spoiled it in her interview, and then now he spoiled the death. Yeah. Brad says he's taking questions from Reddit. Yeah. All right. Juror 13 saying, I'd love to know if anyone. This is actually a really good question. I didn't get this earlier. Making sure this isn't the same way like there was a it was a squib round because a stovepipe is a malfunction. A stovepipe looks like you think a stovepipe like a chimney. And it's a casing that sticks out of the ejection port but has not cleared it and it jams up the gun. So a stovepipe is actually, this is what a stovepipe looks like. Or like on a rifle, it's a rifle casing sticking out. Now it might be upside down, but anyways, it looks like a stovepipe because it looks like the chimney on something peeking out. Now these are easy to clear because you could grab it, grab rack, you're doing it all in one motion. You're like, oh, and you could do it as you're like that. Or if it's a rifle, depending on your rifle, you yank on it and you're ready to go. What happened with Brandon Lee is the gun fired a squib round. So the bullet didn't have enough energy. There was enough energy in the cartridge to get the bullet out of the barrel. Well, after a while, people forgot that was a gun that had a misfired bullet, and they thought it was a bullet with a plug or gun with a plug barrel, meaning like a welded in thing. So eventually it just got passed around prop houses as a plugged gun. And then they put the full power blank in it, and the blank had enough energy to dislodge the bullet. And I think this happened a couple of times, and eventually, finally, there was enough power, and it shot it out. So that's how Brandon Lee died. That's a squib round. These are, like I said, stovepipes are different. So I'm not trying to I did actionably that, so I'm not going to apologize. But that's what you get. A foam. Yes. Unlike the foaming, I actually know guns. So.
Sir, the various scenes that you saw Mr. Baldwin in, did he seem to be in control of how the scene was actually being shot and how quickly he was asking other people to work?
Like I said, so they were a short amount of time. What?
Quick says stovepipes can't happen-ish on revolvers. Yeah, you don't really get those, so you could have something goofy happen during ejection, but that's not a big deal.
Did you make any edits to the videos that you sent Ms. Morrissey via subpoena?
No, there was no edits to the videos.
All right, thanks. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
Just quickly. Mr. Litzinger, you expressed that you have some familiarity with the monitors in Video Village.
Yes. Yeah.
And you filmed inside Video Village on the set of Rust, didn't you?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. The monitor that the director of photography is looking at in Video Village.
Yeah.
Are they only looking at what the camera is recording?
They can see multiple cameras.
Right. But can they see anything that is not being recorded by a camera?
Yes.
How?
Like I said, some of those monitors are attached to other cameras.
But if the cameras aren't rolling, how are they able to see through the monitor?
That's a specific question to what kind of monitors they are.
Okay, that's beyond your knowledge in terms of what they had on this movie set?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what
No
kind
problem.
they're using.
No problem. We'll talk to somebody
Yeah.
else about it. Thank you, sir. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
your time.
Your excuse. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
The next witness is, should we take a early lunch break or should we keep going?
I think the next witness isn't going to take very long, so if we can get
Okay, sure.
him done, and
Yes.
then we'll go to lunch.
Fine.
Jason Hawks
Okay.
is who the state will call next. Shadow, and you need-
Jason Hawks, is that like Mike Hawks?
Can you call him more affirmative?
Is that Mike's brother?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're gonna face the judge, raise your right hand.
Do you swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you'll give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, have a seat. Talk into the mic. Thank you.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
Jason Hawks.
Where are
Caw-caw!
you currently employed?
I own a company that analyzes device extractions and cell phone records for attorneys.
Lucky you. Mr. Hawks, can you give the ladies and gentlemen of the jury some information about your background and training?
Certainly. So I started in law enforcement in 2005 with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. I remained there until 2017 with the last about 7 years
Alameda's out by San Francisco. I think that's where Berkeley is in Alameda County. It's out in San Francisco Bay.
being assigned to investigations. After leaving the sheriff's office, I went to the district attorney's office where I was an investigator for the DA. I was there for 3 years and then I started this company. Specific to device extractions, I've attended classes from Cellbrite, which is a company that extracts information from a handset. I'm a certified operator,
Right, it's an
certified
Israeli
physical
company.
analyst, and I've recently taken the advanced smartphone analysis.
How did you become involved in this case?
I was contacted by the prosecutor's office, I believe it was about a year ago, in March, late March, I believe, 23.
And were you asked to perform any work?
I was.
And let me back up for a second. Have you been, I apologize. Have you been qualified as an expert witness in cell phone records and device analysis?
I have.
And how many times have you been qualified as an expert in those areas?
Between records from the carrier and records from the handset, I've been qualified 53 times in 5 states.
Do you recall what those states are?
Let's see, Texas, Louisiana, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona, 6 states, in California.
Okay, and now you're here in New Mexico.
Now I'm in New Mexico.
I would ask the court to recognize Mr. Hawks as an expert in cell phone records and device analysis.
No objection.
All right, so you're still recognized.
Now you get to add New Mexico to your list. Mr. Hawks, can you explain to the jury kind of what kind of technology you're using and kind of how the cell phone records interface with the software, the extraction software?
Sure. So our smartphones are essentially a bunch of databases that are stored. So programs like Cellbrite go in and they extract the information from the handset. And they do it in a way that doesn't change the nature of the artifact. So if I receive a text message but don't read it, it doesn't change that unread status. So at first, all of the information is removed from the handset, and then it's parsed through Physical Analyzer, is the name of the program. In Physical Analyzer, the information is essentially put back together, and it's converted to whatever time zone it needs to be converted to.
In this particular case, what kind of work did you perform?
I reviewed the Cellbrite extraction of Ms. Gutierrez Reed's her iPhone.
When extraction is done, does everything on the phone get kind of downloaded?
Unfortunately, not everything. So not all of the information is always recovered, but things like text messages, phone calls, images, things like that, are downloaded from the handset.
And when you took you received the raw data from the extraction that was done of Ms. Gutierrez's phone, is that right?
Yes,
So just to be clear, you yourself did not perform the extraction.
that's correct.
Do you know who performed the extraction? Not the person's name, but the agency.
The regional computer forensics lab here in New Mexico.
So how did that data come to you?
It came to me on an external hard drive.
And when you received that data, what did you do in order to conduct an analysis?
So I opened the data in the Physical Analyzer program, which essentially takes the extracted data and runs it through the most current version of the program. And with that, it breaks out the data into various different categories.
Okay. And what kind of categories?
Everything from cell sites that the phone might have seen, images, videos, audio files, notes, text messages, iMessages, voice logs. There's most of the data that we see on our phones is accessible to the program.
And were you able to separate out information related to this particular device that identifies this device?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what I am marking as States Exhibit 92.
See his teeth. Jeez, guys. Cellbrite is Israeli technology by ex-Mossad people, which means they're currently Mossad people. See Souter saying, can't wait to see his reaction to something he says. Hmm.
May I approach you? Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is the device information that was captured by the Cellbrite program for the phone.
How do we know that this is Hannah Gutierrez's phone?
Well, I mean, I received the extraction of the phone. There's some information on here, such as like the phone number and email address, things like that, that would suggest that it is.
Okay. The phone number's on there?
Yes.
Permission to publish?
Yeah.
Let's just kind of look at a couple of things here. I know it's, see if we can make it a little closer up. Does this tell you what kind of,
You want to use the microphone?
oh, I'm sorry. Does this tell you what kind of phone it was?
It does.
What kind of phone was it?
So on number 6, you can see where it says detected model. It says iPhone, and then in parentheses, it says D as in David, 54, P as in Paul, A as in Adam, P as in Paul. That's the iPhone code for an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. And I'm sorry, does this monitor usually come on? Because I can't see, that would be great if I can see it on the monitor in front of me so I don't have to walk back and forth. My eyesight isn't good enough to see what's up there. Thank you, sir. Does it provide the date and time of the extraction?
The date and time of the extraction is actually on a different part of the extraction.
What's in the number 2 column
That is the
or
date.
row rather?
I'm sorry. That is that's the date and time that the phone was displaying at the time of when it was extracted in UTC.
Okay. So what is your understanding about the date? I don't particularly care about the time, the date of the extraction.
That the extraction occurred on December 8th of 2021.
And is there an Apple ID associated with this phone?
There is.
What's that?
So that is number 22 under Apple ID, where it says hannahmemail@gmail.com.
And what is the phone number associated with this phone?
The phone number is on line number 24, which is 928-444-3555.
What's the owner name of this phone?
The name that would appear on, say, a Bluetooth device is found on line 32, which is Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Okay. And did you,
What? Hold on. Hang on. What was that again?
32. The name that would appear on, say, a Bluetooth device is found on line 32, which is Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
okay. And did you,
I guess, is that a I mean, is that saying like Hannah's got that, she's got that kind of grip, like she's been kegling, got her kegels in? I mean, she gonna be able to like break it off? Like, how does that work? Don't search on Google Images Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal. Is that what happened to Jane Goodall with the apes in the mountains? It's the name she goes by. Yeah. Is her phone name? Do not search it. Purple dick grip to death. Yeah, well. You know, speaking of purple and gripping, those Baldos are purple and they have a pretty good grip. But, yeah. Holy shit. See, that's the thing, guys. When you have phones and you do shit like this, it's going to come out. So, like, if you think it's funny to have on your phone, like, you know, I hate Blackie's 1624 or whatever, you know, like, or like, you put down on your phone, like, what's your phone name? Guess the Kikes 1488. Like, if something ever happens to you, this is coming up at trial. So, how did Sean guess my phone name? I don't know. It's just a hunch. You're in my chat. That's why I named my phones after battleships of World War I. Yes, there you go. Or, yes, the South will rise again. Yes. General Lee did nothing wrong on that's your phone named. Okay, well, Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal. Jesus. You guys definitely didn't disappoint. That was really good. All my stuff is Sean P. Martin, attorney in Ohio. Yes. Mr. Martin, this is the FBI. Why do you have a bunch of pictures of horses? fucking guy named Vosh on your phone. So here we go.
You, at my request, did you separate out some contact information for one of the people in the contacts of this phone?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking as States Exhibit 93. May I approach? Sir, do you recognize States Exhibit 93?
I do.
What is that?
This is the contact information for a contact stored as Dad Kula.
I'm sorry, permission to publish? I'm already publishing.
Any objection
No objection.
to the admission and publication?
Generally speaking, what information does this sheet have with regard to the contact Dad Kula? And if you could spell that for us.
Sure, it's DADCULA exclamation point. So what it has is information about that person's contact info, their WhatsApp phone number, their telephone number, when it was added as a contact, that sort of thing.
What's the phone number for Dad Kula?
The phone number is 323-365-2189.
All right, thank you. At my request, did you sort of pull out text messages from the date of October 20th, 2021?
I did.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking as States Exhibit 94. And there are 3 pages to this exhibit.
Okay.
Permission.
Did he identify it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Skipped a step. May I approach? Mr. Hawks, do you recognize that?
I do.
What are we looking at there?
We are looking at a text thread between the 928 number I already referenced and a 505 number.
Motion it in?
Permission to publish and first move. I'll move for the admission of 92, 93, and 94. And then I think we're also going to do a general moving like we discussed.
Okay,
No
so,
objection.
all right, so you may publish.
When we're seeing this text message here that's on the screen, is this a text message from that phone or to that phone?
It is a text message from the 928 number to the 505 number.
Okay, and can you read it for us?
The content?
Yes.
Yes, it's LOL. I don't need that tonight anyways. Right on. I might go smoke in the jacuzzi soon, but maybe not. I'm so pooped.
Okay. And I'm going to show you the
Oh.
second page,
Uh-oh.
Exhibit 94. And
Maybe
is
she meant
that
smoking
a
hole.
text to or from Ms. Gutierrez's phone?
It is from her phone.
And it is to the 505 number?
Correct.
And if you can, and what's the date?
The date is October 20th, 2021 at 7:48 and 46 seconds PM local time.
Okay. And can you read that for us?
It says, headed down to get high out back, :B.
I'm going to show you the third page of Exhibit 94. And what's in the blue?
So the blue is an incoming message from that 505 number to her phone.
And just for context, what does that message say?
That message says, "Time to eat now. How'd the Blaze cess go?"
And then is there and what time was that message sent?
So that message was received by the phone at 8:24 and 46 seconds PM, in red at 8:25 and 47 seconds.
Okay. And so this is the time that it was received,
Correct.
and this is the time it was read.
Correct.
And then is there a response to that text that we're looking at here in green?
There is.
And what time is that sent?
That is sent at 8:25 and 53 seconds.
And this is from Ms. Gutierrez's phone to the 505 number?
Yes.
And what does that text message say?
It says, "I'm still smoking."
Okay, thank you. Did you sort of separate out for me a short thread between Ms. Gutierrez's phone and the Dad Kula contact?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking as State's Exhibit 95. State's Exhibit 95 is a 2-page exhibit.
I don't think I'm allowed to do that by Springs rule.
May I approach?
Yes.
Mr. Hawks, do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
These are messages that were exchanged between the 928 number and the Dad Kula contact on November 8th of 2021.
Approximately what time?
It starts at 4:08 and 36 seconds, and it ends at 5:36. I'm sorry, 5:24 and 38 seconds.
I move for the admission of State's Exhibit 95 and ask permission to publish.
All right, States 95 is admitted, you may publish it.
And that message, is that from the 928 number?
Correct. So any of the messages that are in green are from the 928 number, and any messages in blue are from an outside number.
Okay, and can everybody read that? That way I don't have to have Mr. Hawks read it. And then I'm going to show you the second page, if everybody's had a moment to read that. I'll show you the second page.
Why don't-
In the second,
There must be something on it that's like a bunch of swear words or goofy shit because, like, I'm not making him read it. Well, what the fuck is it?
page. What are we looking at here?
So the top blue box is the response from the previous message that says "will do," and then beneath that is an image that was sent to her phone from the outside number.
What are we looking at there?
We're looking at a thumbnail of the image that was sent to her phone. So the image name is img_0686.heic, and we're looking at the inset thumbnail.
And were you able to collect that actual photo for me so we don't have to look at a thumbnail?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll get there in a minute. At my request, did you separate a text thread between Ms. Gutierrez, the Dad Kula contact, and a contact by the name of Jason Bowles?
Yes.
Not sure what they're doing, guys. See, Souter, do they? So, is it some of these texts include our attorneys that make him a witness? I mean, technically that could happen, but I think the prosecution is already like they've figured out how they're going to get around that, because if they try to bring him up, that kind of torpedoes everything, and that's going to look really bad. Court's going to get pissed. So they're going to have her statements as statements of a party opponent, so they won't necessarily need him. It'll just be her statements to her attorney that he can get fucking sorted out because he screwed up. But we'll see.
And Mr. Hawks, do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is that?
This is part of the text message thread that you were just referencing.
And what's the date of that text exchange?
What is in front of me here starts on December 1st, 2021, and ends also December 1st, 2021.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I move for the admission of State's Exhibit 96 and permission to publish.
States 96 is admitted, you may publish.
Can you just briefly explain what we're looking at here?
Sure. So the top blue box is a message from the Dadcula contact to Ms. Gutierrez's phone. And the second blue box is an incoming message from Mr. Bowles' number to Ms. Gutierrez's phone.
So was this a?
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We approach just a moment.
Oh, sure.
Don't know. We're waiting, so let's. The judge is like, can it really grip like a gorilla? I've never heard of that. I mean, like, my husband said I used to have a really strong grip, but never gorilla grip. She's like, is it from that WAP song we used to hear about?
Mr. Hawks, let me back up for just a moment. How do we know that 3 people were involved in this text conversation?
So the Cellbrite program will pull out text threads. So if you and I have a text thread and you and I and another person have a text thread, those are 2 separate threads in my phone. So what we're looking at here is a thread that was between these 3 people.
Okay. This is not a thread that was only between Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Bowles.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to read that? I'm going to show you the second page of State's Exhibit 96. And Mr. Hawks, can you tell me what we're looking at here?
Yeah, we're looking at a continuation of that same text thread. So the top blue box is an incoming message from the contact from Mr. Bowles. The green box beneath that is an outgoing message to both, because it's a group thread. And then the bottom blue box is an incoming message from the Dadcula contact.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody have an
So privilege was negated a while back because Hannah's attorneys didn't do a good job at selecting out and trying to privilege it. You can protect privileged information from discovery. So for like the cell phone dumps, they could have said you're not allowed to see these, and these because these messages specifically are protected. They didn't protect those. They didn't designate them, so everything got discovered. And then once it happens, the judge is like, "Sorry, too late. You that ship sailed. You can't unring the bell." They didn't do a good job at. They didn't file any protection or do anything to keep these from being exposed, like protective orders or asserting privilege. So that's, yeah, no. So the privilege got negated by Hannah's attorneys. Although you could argue the third party is, if that third party was not another attorney or the employee of attorney, this privilege was negated because it's a third party that doesn't, like, if it was just like her other friend, well, then this isn't attorney-client privilege. Yeah, her lawyer kind of pulled a tight beard, kind of, but you know, she might go to prison for this, so it's even worse.
Opportunity to read those. I know they're pretty short, and at this point, they may not make much sense, but we're getting there. I'm going to show you the.
One of the first didn't see.
I'm going to show you page 3.
I don't know what's going on, guys. I mean, maybe he's trying to say, like, we still have privilege, Your Honor. She's like, you blew it up. You didn't have that grip. You got to have that gorilla grip on your privilege, son. Gorilla grip privilege. Gorilla grip privilege
Okay,
protected.
Terry, we're gonna break for lunch,
That's what that
please.
GGPP, gorilla grip privilege protected. That's what that is.
Don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court, okay? And thank you. We'll be back at, what do you all want? 12:40 or what? 1 o'clock? What do you want?
Is one possible, Judge?
You sure it is? Okay, 1 o'clock, okay? All right.
All rise.
Walter, yeah, hold on here. I'm gonna. Okay, so if you guys can hear me, okay, right? Walter Malone for $10. Thank you, Walter. Walter. State read Hannah's phone number in court today when asked about it. Prosecutor said it was a defense's responsibility to attack and protect their client's privacy. Slimy play or fair? I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's there, I mean, I get that this prosecutor plays very hard-nosed, but I'm sure the defense was probably, I don't know. I think there's some animus that's already existing here. So, but it's fine. I mean, really, it's up to them protected, although Hannah's more than likely, that is multiple phone numbers in the past for her at this point. If you call it, I doubt it's her going to picking it up. So, mad to say, you would think that Daddy could buy Hannah some decent attorneys. Look, best attorneys in the world are going to fuck up, man. If you're looking for you know, that people flying the space shuttle, you might fucking crash it. Your attorney might fuck something up on your case. The guy making your cheeseburger might put pickles on it, and you don't want pickles. Everybody fucks up with their job. It's just the scale of the fuck up. So that's all I'd say there. So you guys didn't like the Gorilla Grip protector? Protect your privilege. Gorilla Grip, protect your privilege. There we go. That's what we'll call it. But yes, Walter, that's a good question. That's a good question. So we are says Hannah has the same attorney. Yes, she's had the same attorney pretty much throughout. X-Men says her phone number shows up. Don't send her pictures of your dick. Thank you. That's great advice. Young Forever says, I appreciate the cell phone guy didn't apologize for saying pussy. Good for him. His job is to read what's given to him. You don't, I apologize, or Your Honor, I don't know if I could say it. You know, if your name on your phone is like hairy asshole eater 2214, guess what? What name is there? Hairy asshole eater 2214. You're not apologizing. You're stating what's in an exhibit, so it's not on you. That's a guy who's had experience testifying before. So that was a very good job by him. No, there's her phone number today. Maybe not this evening. Well, no, because they weren't from her phones today. So Pepsi Man says if Fast Buy screws up your burger, you don't go to jail. I understand, but I'm just trying to tell you, it's the scale of how bad that oopsie poopsie is. Because everybody messes up with their jobs. But even then, this is not going to sink Hannah. Hannah's going to probably be the one who sinks herself ultimately. Examoon says, did Kyle's Rittenhouse lawyer apologize for dropping the N-word in trial? No, he did not. C. Sauter says it's a lawyer's number, though. They address it soon. Oh, her lawyer's number. Oh, well. Free advertising. So. Oh, and Quicks. Hi, Quicks. I don't think I've seen you around before, but hello. Welcome. Saying if you're embarrassed about saying or seeing things in forensics is not your field. That's fair. That's fair. Oh, apparently, according to my producer, I'm getting information that his website is down. Hannah Reid's attorney's website is down. Well, down. See, this is the cool part. We can we're just like time traveling here. Like this, we're gonna go whoop 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 whoop. Whoop just cruising. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, look at that, guys. Look at that chat. We're done, and we're like making good time. You know, that's where I'm going to tell you guys, we are going to stream tonight. We're going to talk about some fun stuff later, too. I'm not sure what the time until we get done with this, but look at this. We're already to there. If there's going to be like a break in the middle of this, too. Like, we're going to, we're looking good, chat. So here we go.
That's of the
Here we go.
and I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV and then took pictures of the exhibits. So you're not on court TV, period. So that happens, you're out of here for the rest of the trial. All right, thank you. All right, let's call in the jury. Did we
Wait, so
get
what
everything straightened
happened?
out? Absolutely bothered.
Okay, so what happened here?
And I'm absolutely bothered that someone went on court TV and then took pictures of the exhibits. So you're not on court TV, period. So that happens, you're out of here for the rest of the trial. All right, thank you.
So somebody screenshotted what was on the screens. Is that the issue? I'm a little confused here. Or is she saying somebody came in and snuck in and took pictures of stuff? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense here.
All right, let's call in the jury. Did we get everything straightened out?
Hey, Ag, how
Counsel?
you doing?
I don't want to rush it, but did we get that straightened out, or do you need more time?
Thank you.
Okay, wait, also on the court TV, also on the record, another order is that court TV is ordered to redact the phone numbers that were put up on the text messages because their phones are blowing up. And the solution obviously is redaction from here on out, but I'm going to say that the people that were taking pictures contributed to that. All right, thank you. So let me know when you want to call in the jury.
Yeah, that's the thing. We could screenshot, I could take a picture and stream it. Like, I got Snagit. I can go boop and screen that. And ain't nothing you could do, Judge. Access tired and hungry. Yay for lab work. Oh, well, hey, man. Join us and relax. It's 6:30 in Louisiana. Get yourself, I don't know, some gator chitlins or something. The judge has no chill. Well, they don't like it when people are getting fucked with, so including Hannah and the attorney. Oh, you're saying Guest Court TV posted the photos with the numbers. Yeah. She should not be allowed to. No, it's just they should be redacting those before they put it up there. We have the right to see all the evidence. So, okay, so let's catch up here. This is mostly on the courts, not media. Well, it's mostly on the people in the courtroom, not the courts itself. But yes, the court to try to order that was a bit like kind of canoey. Little douche canoey. Do canoey. Hannah's like, maybe they don't think I'm a white woman now. They think I'm Chinese. My name is not Hannah Reed. It's Hannah-san.
Oops. All right, is that better? We're going to go back through real quick some of those text threads that we had on the Elmo, and we're going to have you read the content, okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to place on the Elmo what was previously entered into evidence as State's Exhibit.
If this was not a stipulated to exhibit, it's actually a really good question. So I have a picture of a text message, a printout of a text message, and the phone numbers are gone. Mads. And I'm not picking on you. I think this is a really good example. And the phone numbers have been taken away. So it's just a message. Well, who did it come from? There's no identifying markings on it. So you can't even say the program spits out the identifying markings. So it's the identifiers. You can redact them then, but you need to include them so that way you can verify that's where it came from. So remember, we don't go by the trust me, bro. It's, well, yeah, it came from Hannah's phone. Hannah's phone is like 867-5309, and yep, these match up. So, yeah. So that is a good question, but that's why they would do it. If only we don't redact Alec Baldwin's phone number, that will be fun. That's Jenny's number. Well, she gave it to your mom, so Jenny could feel important. So, all right. So here we go. Let's get back to it.
'96. Can you go ahead and just read that and remind us if this is a message that was sent by the phone or received by the phone?
Sure. So this was a message that was received by Ms. Gutierrez-Reed's phone from the Dadkula contact that says, get someone to show her a single action gun and how it works. They don't go off by themselves. And then beneath that is an incoming message from Mr. Bowles' phone to Ms. Gutierrez-Reed's phone that says, yes, I sent her this manual I got today also.
What's the problem?
Do you want me to just read them?
Just read them. Let's just, we gotta get this done. Thank you, sir. There's a exhibit 96 that I handed you. Can you just go ahead and read it? Explain to the jurors what you're reading, given that they've already saw it.
Yeah, so this is exhibit 96. The first page I've just read. The second page,
And Mr. Hawks, what's the date of these conversations?
this is December 1st, 2021. The second page starts with a message from Mr. Bowles to Ms. Reed that says, I think I sent this with an attachment. Beneath that is an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, yeah, honestly, that gun won't go off unless he fully cocked it. And then the final message on that page is a message from the Dadkula contact that said, if someone could just show her, she could see a transfer makes no difference. The final page starts with an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, yeah, we got some that just aren't long barreled. They're the same thing. And then finally, message from the Dadkula contact that says exactly.
May I approach? I'm going to hand you what's been marked as States Exhibit 95. And would you go ahead and do the same thing with 95?
Certainly. So 95 is from November 8th of 2021. And the first message is an outgoing message from Ms. Reed that says, hey, I need you to check out my boxes and send me some pictures of our boxes of dummies. The second page starts with an incoming text from the Dadkila contact that says will do. And then beneath that is another incoming text message with a photograph.
And at my request, did you separate that photograph? Did you isolate that photograph for me?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been previously entered into evidence as States Exhibit 69, and we're going to do this the quick and old-fashioned way. Can you see that?
Yes.
Sorry for the dirty screen. What is that?
That is the image that was sent via text message, via iMessage to Ms. Reed's phone from the Dadkila contact.
Thank you, sir. May I approach? Mr. Hawks, in addition to doing some work on Ms. Gutierrez's cell phone extraction, did you also do some work on cell phone extractions from some other folks involved in this case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember their names?
There was a woman named Sarah, I don't remember her last name,
Okay.
and a gentleman whose name I don't remember. But
Okay.
I'm sure I would if you refresh my memory.
Well, I'm going to leave that to defense counsel, and I will pass the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Bowden.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You mentioned you did some other extractions. Does the word Dave Halls ring a bell?
Yes,
All right. Is that the other phone that you looked at?
correct.
All right. And Judge, if I can publish just to his screen, please.
Quicks, this is actually, it's a good question, but the short answer is no, and I'll explain later.
Can I just be standing there
Sure.
so I can see what's on the screen? Is that okay?
You can stand there, stand here, wherever you would like. It'll be quicker to do it this way because then I can publish it if the judge admits it. Okay.
Here, why don't I just stand here
Yeah.
and I'll look over your shoulder? That's perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, that works. All right, sir, what are you looking at?
Looks, you just, it's on that screen, on your screen is different. I'm showing you.
I don't mind. No, sir.
All right, what are you looking at here, sir?
I'm looking at the first page of a PDF of a Cellbrite report that was done by the New Mexico RCFL,
All right,
of the phone that you just asked me about.
all right, and can you scroll down to the second page?
Yes.
All right. So what is this device information? What does this tell you?
So this is a summary of the data that is in this PDF report. It involves chats, native messages, which are, in this case, iMessages, WhatsApp, emails, timeline, and then data files, which include images and videos.
Okay. Is there information about deleted information on this device?
There is.
Can you tell us about that, please?
So the report indicates that there's one deleted iMessage and one deleted WhatsApp. In addition to that, there are 5 deleted emails, and there are some deleted images, but without knowing what the images are, I don't know if they're things that he actually deleted or if they were cached images that got purged.
And how many images are notated on the report as being deleted?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, help yourself.
Sorry. So there's 152,237 images total, and there's 1,438 that are deleted.
You can just hold on.
Whoa,
And then 3,214 videos with 7 deleted.
Okay. And when you're looking at a
it sounds like Dave Hall uses phone a lot for work as an assistant director. Like he was using his phone to do a lot of things, which, geez, that's a lot of deleted shit.
device and you see that something's been deleted, what does that actually mean? What is that telling you?
It means that it was deleted and recovered. So if I delete something from my cell phone and it's overwritten, or that memory is actually purged, then it's not recovered and there's just no evidence of it. So this shows that there were items that were deleted and recovered by the program.
All right, and you have no way of knowing if
Good
additional
question.
things
We'll
were
get to this,
deleted
Pepsi,
because it just wouldn't be extracted. You wouldn't have the information to look
and
at.
I'll be right
Correct.
back, you guys.
All right, and in your experience, do you know that sometimes happens?
I know that it can happen. I mean, if it's not there, I don't know that it was there to begin with and was deleted, but it certainly can happen.
Actually, I'll just do this here with you. So if you can go to the emails page on that document. Yeah,
I do.
All right. There's about 20 emails in Mr. Hall's extraction here. How do you know that these are actually his emails?
So there's incoming emails. The top one is an incoming email. Just to avoid what we had earlier, it's to a Gmail address. So that means that account was installed on the phone, and this is an email that was received by his phone, signed into an email address associated with it.
Okay, so that physical phone has access to that email address.
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I would move to conditionally admit defendant's exhibit O.
You have no idea. Sorry, guys. We'll skip ahead.
Yes.
And so you had mentioned emails being deleted. Can you say with certainty that emails were deleted from Mr. Hall's phone?
We'll celebrate recovered deleted information. So yeah, so it was recovered from it's a recovered deleted email.
Okay. And the email that,
We'll get to this interesting concept.
if I could approach again. All right. Sir, I'm handing you what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit P. Can you look at the first 2 pages of that document, please?
Yes.
All right. What is that?
This is an iPhone 11.
Is it Sarah Zachary's phone?
I'm looking for the device name.
Council approach.
And I may just be able to stipulate.
Well, no, I mean, you.
Sorry, I don't know why I didn't click over when I tried hitting it.
The state will stipulate that what Mr. Hawks is looking at is a cell phone extraction of the witness, Sarah Zachary.
Judge may retrieve my.
Yes.
I mean, they're gonna have to stipulate now or later.
All right, so with both Mr. Hall's phone and Sarah Zachary's phone, are the dates and timestamps listed in the extraction for text messages and emails, are those accurate?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
So everything in our phones in these SQLite databases is stored in UTC by default. What Cellbrite does is it converts it to whatever time zone we want to convert it to. In this case, Mountain Time.
Okay, so the foundational testimony you gave at length regarding my client's phone would apply
Yes.
with equal force to both Mr. Hall's phone and Ms. Zachary's phone?
Yes, these are things that are written at the time.
Okay. Did you have any other role in this case? Did you do any other work in this case?
No, my primary role was to help the prosecutor sort of sift through various pictures and that sort of thing to make sure only images that were native to the phone came in, not cached images or things that were beyond her control.
You mentioned on direct exam that there are some things that you don't get in a extraction. Would one of those things be something stored on a cloud, like an iCloud?
It depends. Are you referring to a document or an image?
Why don't you describe both?
So if we have things on our iCloud, typically it can be stored also locally on the phone and on the iCloud, or in the case of photographs, your phone may keep a little thumbnail that is a link to your iCloud account. So in that case, the original photo would not be on the handset. It would be on the cloud, but that thumbnail is essentially a gateway to the original image.
Okay. If something is just on the cloud and you don't have a gateway, as you described, is there a way to actually go get that information?
You could get it with a search warrant.
Okay. Did you discuss doing any kind of search warrant to retrieve images or texts or video from Sarah Zachary that she may have in the cloud?
No.
No. Do you recall having a email discussion on October 12th, 2023 with Ms. Morrissey about the subject?
I don't. I know that Ms. Morrissey, if you're telling me I had one with her, then perhaps I did. I sent her some various subpoena language. I don't remember this iCloud being part of it, but if you're telling me it was there, then I did.
Would looking at the email refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Like the approach? Sure.
What? Hey, you know what? He probably could, and I bet me and him would have a fun time doing it.
Okay, this is for refreshing recollection, so you've seen it. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me know when you finish reading it, please.
Is he checked?
Excuse me, read all of it, correct?
Just the top one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If it's refresh your recollection, let me know, and if not, let me know.
Yeah, so this is what I was referring to as far as,
So you're going to give that back to him, and he's going to ask
Oh,
if
yeah.
this refreshes your memory to the question he asked you.
Yeah, did that refresh your memory, sir?
what I think I meant by that, and I'm not really sure, so I can't say with 100% certainty if I was referring to, I'm sorry, you have a question beyond that, or it refreshed my recollection of the conversation. Yes.
Okay. So on Ms. Zachary's phone, you were requested to get tax videos and photos from September 15th, 2021 to November 21st, 2021. And you indicated that there were some photos that were not on her phone, but might be on her iCloud account. Did you have further discussion about how you might go obtain those photos?
No, I think what we're referring to the same thing. I believe my recollection is that I'm referring to the thumbnails. So if I were to download a thumbnail from a phone and you were to put it onto a television screen, it just gets blurry as opposed to the actual full-size image. That's my recollection of the full-size image maybe on the iCloud.
Okay. And you said in here that there are no entries on the phone or image metadata, right?
Correct.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Redirect.
Just real quick, Mr. Hawks. Is it possible for a person's phone to delete things without the operator of the phone intending for that to happen?
What do you mean specifically?
And I thought there was a discussion earlier when we were off the record that sometimes the phone automatically deletes certain things. That's what I'm referring to.
So you're referring to cached images.
Right.
So when we go to a website or social media, our phone will capture a series of images, and those images go into what's called a cache folder. And after a certain amount of time, that cache folder automatically will delete. But that's not from the person's camera roll.
And it wouldn't be from their email either.
Email contents?
I'm speaking about what Mr. Bullion was referencing with regard to Mr. Halls's deleted data.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
It wouldn't, no.
Okay, I just wanted to square that up. Thank you. I don't have anything further. Appreciate you.
Your excuse.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
And just for the record, I'm going to reserve, just in case we need to
Okay.
bring it back.
You're reserved. Don't talk to any witnesses.
The state calls Catherine Rowe Walters.
So don't go on there and look at your don't go and look at your Gorilla Grip folder.
You swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you'll
Not
give in
much
this
is
case will
left.
be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, have a seat, talk into the microphone. Thank you.
We'll be done pretty quick here. Like we've got a half hour to go.
Go ahead and state your full name.
Full name Catherine Elizabeth Walters.
Thank you. And do you go by Rowe?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. Ms. Walters, were you a member of the crew of the movie Rust?
Yes, ma'am.
And what role did you have?
I was the unit production manager.
What does a unit production manager do?
The unit production manager is the person on set who is making sure the day-to-day operations go smoothly.
All right. And are you familiar with Ms. Gutierrez?
I am.
Your role on set, if a crew member needs something, would you maybe be the person they would go to?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to ask you, did Ms. Gutierrez ever specifically request from you additional training time with Mr. Baldwin?
Not to me.
Did she ever ask you to help her get Coke?
Did Ms. Gutierrez request generally additional training days as an armorer from you?
No, not for me.
We understand that there was a prop truck on the movie set, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
During the filming of the movie, before the incident that occurred on October 21st, When filming wasn't going on, so in the evenings or on the weekends, how was that prop truck secured?
There's a side door on that truck, and the back roll-up door are secured by padlocks.
And so that happened even prior to October 21st?
Yes, ma'am.
And who would lock the truck in the evening or for the weekend?
Either it would be the department heads or it would be the Teamsters who were maintaining the dress.
And so were they combination locks or key locks?
I believe they were key locks, but I don't remember.
Can you tell us who had access, who had the keys, who could go get in the prop truck?
It would be anyone. It would be anyone who had the keys to do it. The department heads were the ones that usually had keys or combinations.
Who were the department heads? Can you just give us their names?
Sure. So for props, it was Sarah Zachary. For armory, and I believe that Sarah and Hannah shared keys. The other department heads would have been Sergey and a couple of others that I honestly don't recall, but they would have had keys to their trucks.
And they have keys to the locks that lock the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you have a key to the locks?
No.
Well, did Ms. Gutierrez reach out to you a couple days after Ms. Hutchins' death and ask to meet you at the prop truck?
Yes.
And why did she want to meet you at the prop truck?
She was getting ready to head back home and wanted to grab some personal effects off the truck.
And were you able to provide her access to the truck?
Yes.
How were you able to do that if you didn't have the keys?
So after the incident occurred, we had the Teamsters pull all of the locks off the trucks and had a different set of keys so that the only people who would have access were myself and the Teamster captain were the only two people who had those access.
And why would the Teamster have access to the truck?
Because they were the ones, if they needed to move it for any reason, do any maintenance, any of those things.
Okay. You have actual Teamsters that are working on the movie set that are maintaining the trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
And driving the trucks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when Ms. Gutierrez, do you recall the date that Ms. Gutierrez asked you to meet at the prop truck?
I do not.
Do you agree that it was just a couple days after the incident?
I do.
Okay. And do you know everything that Ms. Gutierrez took out of the prop truck?
I do not.
Did you see any of the items that she took out of the prop truck?
I saw a few things, but I don't remember exactly everything.
Can you just describe to us the few things that you did see her take out of the prop truck?
I remember a couple of gun belts, and I think I remember a couple of cardboard boxes, but nothing other than that.
Okay. And Ms. Gutierrez took these items from the prop truck prior to the police executing a search warrant on that truck. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I will pass the witness. Thank you.
Cross-examine?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, in addition to Ms. Gutierrez Reed, you allowed other people to get their personal effects as well, didn't you?
From the set?
Yes.
Yes.
So after the incident, the law enforcement cleared the scene
Mhm.
and everybody thought it was clear, correct?
Correct.
And so you allowed multiple people to get their personal effects. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't just Ms. Gutierrez Reed.
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regard to that set, I want to ask you, were you aware of the camera crew walking off
Yes.
and they were disgruntled?
Yes.
When did they walk off that set?
I received resignation emails the night before.
Okay. So this was the night before the incident, the night before the shooting.
Mhm.
And these camera crew, and how many of them walked off?
My memory says 6, which was the full team.
So the full team, the full camera crew walked off set. So for the set next day, you have to get a new camera crew.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you in charge of that?
It was a joint effort between myself, my line producer, Gabrielle Pickle, and our producers as well.
Are you and Ms. Pickle, do you talk or on the set? Did you talk quite a bit? Did you talk daily?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I don't want to get into hearsay comments, what somebody else said, but were you aware that Ms. Gutierrez Reed had requested additional training of Mr. Baldwin?
For Mr. Baldwin, no.
Okay. You never had that discussion with her?
No.
But do you know whether Ms. Pickle did?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. So let's go back. You and a couple more people are trying to get the camera crew. Is that right? And did you get them for the next day?
We did.
Okay. You had to scramble. I mean, that night, make calls that night?
Yeah, I was making calls at night and very early the next morning.
The camera crew that walked off because they were disgruntled, did they come to the set that next morning?
They did.
Do you know what they were doing the next morning? Did you watch them or did you see them?
Yeah, I was with them for part of the morning. They were retrieving their own personal effects off of the camera truck.
Okay. Did you see any of them walk around to other parts of set or were they just getting their effects?
From what I remember, they were just around the truck.
Okay. The prop truck during the day, that was not secured during the days of set. Is that correct?
As far as I know, it was not secured, no.
Okay. So during the day that filming goes on, and what are the hours of that generally?
Generally, we would start anywhere between 6 and 7 a.m. and go till 7 or 8 p.m.
Okay. So for approximately that 12 or 13-hour period, whatever it would be, that prop truck was open.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Theoretically, everybody on set could have had access to that prop truck.
Theoretically.
Okay. Now you said that it was you and the Teamsters that would secure that truck after hours. Is that right?
It would be the department heads and the Teamsters.
Department heads and Teamsters.
Yep.
Who was the person, the Teamster in particular, that would do that?
I do not remember his name.
Okay. After the shooting, do you remember who that Teamster, who that captain, I think you said was?
I would honestly have to go back through my notes. I cannot remember his name right now.
Oh, that's all right. And do you have your notes, or?
I do not.
That's okay. Okay. So you don't remember his name.
I do not.
Okay. Did you check every night before you left to make sure that prop truck was locked?
No.
Okay. Now, with regard to Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, my understanding is that you never heard any complaints about her.
I did not.
Okay. And that was the entire time of the rest set.
Correct.
Okay. Let me ask you also, after the incident, after the shooting, I understand you went into the church approximately 2 days after.
That sounds correct, yes.
Okay. And you were going to remove media?
Yes.
Is that right? Were
Yes.
you trying to assist them to remove the media from the camera to see if anything had been filmed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was with regard to filming of the actual shooting, correct?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to remove that?
I was.
Were you able to determine whether there was any filming?
Of the incident?
Yes.
There was no filming of the incident that was recorded.
Okay. Do you know whether anybody may have had access to that camera after the shooting? and
Nobody
before
filmed the
you removed
incident?
media?
Not to my knowledge.
Wait,
Okay.
hold on here.
When you
Hold
said there was
on.
no filming, are you familiar enough with that camera system to know whether if
We're
they're
looking
looking?
up for a second.
Okay. Do you know whether anybody may have had access to that camera after the okay, to determine whether there was any filming?
Of the incident?
Yes.
There was no filming of the incident. that was
Wow.
recorded.
Okay. Do you know whether
I'm surprised.
anybody may have had access to that camera after the shooting and before you removed the media?
Not to my knowledge.
When you said there was no filming, are you familiar enough with that camera system to know whether, if they're looking through the monitor,
Mhm.
that it has to be rolling?
They can look through the monitor whether it's rolling or not.
Okay. So your knowledge of that camera is they can look through it without it rolling.
Correct.
Okay. Now, with regard to that prop truck search, you were present for that search, correct?
It was.
And you also present for that search was Seth Kinney.
Yes, he was there.
Okay. And you remember why Seth Kinney there? Did he go to provide the code?
No, I think he was there because a lot of the firearms that were there were his. So he was there to be with the sheriff's office.
He was there with the sheriff's office when they arrived?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you know whether he was led into the prop truck? Do you recall that?
I do not recall.
Okay. Were you in the truck or outside when the search happened?
Outside.
Did you look inside the back of that truck?
I did.
Did you see that prop cart in the truck?
Do not recall.
Okay. Now, if it was in the pictures, would you have any idea why the prop cart was in the prop truck?
I am confused by your question.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Let me ask you this way. If the prop cart was in the prop truck,
Uh-huh.
do you know who must have moved that into the prop truck?
I can make an assumption, but I do not know for sure
Yeah,
who would have
don't-
moved it.
No, don't guess. And
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know.
No.
Okay. All right. You indicated you got keys to the locks for the prop truck after the incident.
Yes, sir.
And you said the captain Teamster had one too.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have the combo to that gun safe?
No.
Okay. Now, you talked a little bit about Baldwin and its safety training. Did you ever observe that training that was done with Baldwin?
I saw it from a distance, but I was not close enough to hear anything.
Okay. Did you observe that Baldwin was not really paying attention?
His back was to me and they were up a hill. I do not know.
So you don't know that. Okay.
No, sir.
On the set, after it was over for the day,
Mhm.
you're aware that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, Ms. Ackery, everybody had to basically clear out. They had to leave. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So at the end of the day, it's fair to say they weren't accorded time to clean the prop truck because at the end of the day, they needed to go.
Correct.
And during the day, Ms. Ackery, because the set's pretty busy.
Yeah.
You're that during the day, they're doing their prop jobs and their armor job duties, those kind of things, correct?
Correct.
So there's no time really to go back during the day, take a break and go back and clean everything. And there's not at night either, is there?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Hannah. I don't have it.
Redirect.
Ms. Walters, I want to be clear. Between October 21st and October 27th,
Mhm.
did anyone other than Ms. Gutierrez request to get items out of the prop truck?
Not to me, not to my knowledge.
It was only Ms. Gutierrez that you gave access to the prop truck between the 21st and the 27th.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And on the movie set, did you guys hire security guards?
There was 24-hour security at the gate, but they did not walk around on set.
Okay, but if someone were to try to drive in,
Mhm.
they would encounter that security guard, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this location convenient to get to?
Not really.
Okay. I think you indicated on cross-examination that no one complained to you about Ms. Gutierrez. Do you recall saying that?
I do recall.
Isn't it true that one of the reasons that the camera crew indicated they were leaving was because of the accidental discharges from firearms on set?
Your Honor, I'm going to object on hearsay. That would be the basis for that.
Well, I'm basically impeaching her because she indicated.
Council approach, just you two.
It's not really an impeachment there. You're impeaching her with someone else's. You're not impeaching her with her own statements, a prior inconsistent statement. You're impeaching her with facts. Well, you'd bring in another witness to explain there was the issue with the camera crews. That's where the guy that was doing the B-roll shit could have said, yeah, the camera crews walked off set. But you'd have to impeach them with that guy's testimony or someone else's testimony. You can impeach your own witness. There's nothing against that. If your witness has given an untruthful statement, you can impeach them. That's a very, very old school rule. You couldn't impeach your witness. We don't do that anymore. So that's not abnormal. And yeah.
Walters,
So let's see what happens.
Ms. Walters, do you know if one of the reasons that the camera crew left was because of accidental discharges on set?
They cited safety concerns, yes.
Did they specifically say accidental discharges on
I
set?
believe so, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
And Mr. Bowles asked you about the camera crew coming the following day to collect their belongings.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you indicated that they stayed at the camera truck.
Mhm.
Is that right?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And is the camera truck and the prop truck the same thing?
No.
In your experience, do people on the camera crew frequently bring their own equipment, stands, cables, stuff like that?
Sometimes, yes.
And did they on the set of Rust?
Yes, they did.
Is that your understanding of what they were taking?
Yes.
During the day, when filming was going on, was the prop truck being overseen by a driver? A member of the Teamsters that you hired?
He might not have been there all the time, but he was around, yes.
Okay. And I want to just ask you a couple of quick questions about your experience. How many films or productions, or even TV is fine, have you been the unit production manager on prior to this?
Prior to this, 3 or 4.
And did any of those other productions have an armorer?
They did not.
This was the first production you worked on that had an armorer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I don't have anything further.
Your Honor, do you have any objection? Just real briefly, I asked you earlier about, you were saying that you don't remember, you couldn't see if Mr. Baldwin was paying attention during that training.
Correct.
You recall in your pretrial interview that you did indicate that he wasn't paying attention?
I had been told he wasn't paying attention. I did not physically see it.
Okay, so, and I
Ooh.
don't want to get into the hearsay comment.
Sure.
So, but you didn't see it yourself?
I did not.
Okay. With regard to the, with regard to the accidental discharges, were you aware that there was a discharge with special effects?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Which Hannah's not in charge of.
Next witness.
Ooh, that's a good point now. Oh, ooh. See, here's the thing. Since she's a unit manager, she knows this. I would have asked her, is special effects under the armorer's position? No. So, there were discharges. Some of those, well, here's the thing, though. You can say some of those weren't Hannah's fault, but then you also have to admit some of them were. But now you're putting a hole in the prosecutor's story. Now they're looking like fucking liars. So that's why you want to chisel away at it. I think they left that, and I'm sorry, guys, I haven't watched this, but I think they just left one on the table. Unless they're going to bring it up later, but I would bring it up with all their witnesses. How does that work? And I'm just to make sure, not all this is Hannah's responsibility. Yep. Okay, great. So when they try to cite some of this stuff, it's like they lied to you. But I don't know why you went and asked the unit manager. They went, hold on real quick. Hey, sweetheart, would the unit manager know that? And I'll wait for you to respond over the holler. But I think that they could have asked that question. Okay, hold on. Absolutely, the unit manager would know whose jobs are what, because they're going to be, I assume, a fairly experienced, person. So I think they gave that one away. They could have asked that question. So she's a movie person. She's just she's really, really smart. Like I told you guys, she fucking smart. Smart as fuck. So, man, so she pulled a Watkins. Jesus, guys. All right, so let's see what's going to happen from here. She's going to tell her, don't watch fucking court TV. We might need you again. But yeah, look how small that courtroom is. Public. I mean, I'm surprised it's not packed full of people, but it is fucking middle of nowhere. I mean, it's Santa Fe, New Mexico, so it's not like, people are streaming there. Gorilla Grip, Key Grip. It's like that Jay-Z song, 1-900-Hustler. Gorilla Pimp, get up on that killer shit. But yes, the grip is an actual position in a movie set. She's my newest subscriber? Okay. Yes. Yes, Future Miss Martin 2.0 is my producer. Eric says the benches are uncomfortable. They are. Yeah.
Okay, first of all.
Yeah. Yes,
Fine.
they help do
Chicken.
things. There's Key Grip, Dolly Grip, Best Boy Grip, Lighting Grip. Although technically the lighting guys are called gaffers. And you just missed it. I said gaffer. Booyah, I got that right. Saying this gets weird. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Yes, thus the name gaffer tape. Yes. In Europe, that's why it's called gaffer tape. Here it's called electrical tape. But yes. What about the riggers? And what about the diggers? Gotta worry about Joe's people. Joe's chosen people. His tribe. Tribe of diggers. Do the movies have foamers? Dan, that's a good
I don't know if
question.
you think it's your lucky day, but we're going to break early. I think from the faces I see, it's a good thing. Okay. All right, but we have one question that we're going to ask you to go back in to your room and answer this question. And
What
and
the
then
fuck
come back
is
out
this?
and get dismissed, and we give you all the don't forget language. Okay, it'll come clear to you. You're all going to go out. He's going to ask you that question. He's going to get your answer, and then he's going to give me the answer on that piece of paper, and then you all are going to come back in. Okay?
All rise.
What? It's
All right, you may be seated.
Okay, so real quick. Yes, here's gaffer tape. It's more fabric-y based. There's gaffer tape that's PVC tape, and then there's duct tape. Gaffer tape has very little light reflection, so it can be used up in lighting. So let's get back to the. Let's. That's all used on the what? Oh, they had wires. I can eat an entire package of Oreos left unsupervised. Pfft. Yeah, that's an accomplishment. My brother in Christ, you are not the only one. Oh, Matt says gaffer tape is more like duct tape. Yeah, I guess just growing up, I heard gaffer tape a couple of times, and that was just like the electrical tape. But yeah, I guess there is an actual difference. So I learned something today. Yes, apparently it's much nicer. Okay. Honey, would you like to come in here and talk? Honey, can you come in here and talk? Because it's like, you can join us. Okay. We're not having a duct tape discussion today. So yeah, I don't know what that question is. Hannah has no friends. The courtroom is dead. Well, I don't know. Yes, the fabric tape muffles the screams. Yes. Rejected. Eric says, I've eaten 24 Cadbury cream eggs in one sitting. How bad was your diarrhea afterwards? That just sounds awful. So, duct tape is for later. Well, see, the neat thing is there's a duct tape festival here in the Cleveland area. In Avon Lake, Ohio, they have a duct tape festival outside the Duck brand duct tape factory. Allow the autists to do the adhesive discussions. Yeah. So I don't know what this question is. Does anybody know what the question was? Was it like, have you been approached by somebody? Do you think Court TV things? Like, what do you guys think happened here? Because I'm really confused about what they're talking about. Also, guys, this was like a 6-hour stream. We did it in 3 hours. That's how awesome we are. Oh, it's older than 2022, dude. They've been doing it for like 25 years. In fact, when I was in high school, they did a thing where if you were willing to wear like a duct tape tux, you would get like this dope ass limo and like a free dinner and everything like that. So, yeah, they're talking about who's got a gorilla grip. I'm assuming this is going to get put on the record, whatever it is they did. So here we go. Or maybe I'll search online or Twitter.
When we're waiting here for the jury, and Haven and I are, shooting the breeze, that it was being picked up on Court TV. So, people knew that I walked my dogs when I got home, things like that. And so we just want to make sure we were all kind of squirmish on which things trigger us going on Court TV. So that's why we went in the hallway. We didn't mean to be secretive. We just wanted to take a breather on feeling, a little,
So here's the funny thing. When you're in court, the funny thing is, if she wasn't doing her normal docket, that's going to be a court full of local people. And she has no problem spilling, she'll be talking about her personal life and things like that with other attorneys. Oh yeah, her and my dogs are doing great. I took them for a walk last night. So now people that are local in the courtroom know she goes for a walk. I don't understand why she's that paranoid now that everybody in the country knows, because it's not like everybody in the country is going to show up. But I get it. But yeah, so that's why apparently she seems a little goofy about this. I'm trying to figure out what this whole thing was about, though, and I haven't found an answer yet.
up here. That's why. Okay. So we wanted to share that because we didn't want to leave that impression. Okay. So they were supposed to write it down here, but you can tell me.
So do I need everyone to individually write?
No, I mean, just Let's see.
Is she about to go postal? I don't know. She's too paranoid to the mics to hear the jury. So what time they like to come in the morning? I guess, but that is goofy. Although, yeah, I guess it makes it easier for them to they don't have to go pick them up at a. Although I think they probably, if they were smart about this, they'd have them go meet somewhere on the other side of town and bus them in, or bring them in special vehicles or something. I don't know. So she had to get the big salad. No way the OJ trial was fun. The OJ trial was 8 months long, dude. Hearing after hearing after hearing after hearing. Think about it. How long it taken Jeff to get through all that OJ stuff? Is the judge wearing a tie? No, she's wearing a scarf. And a lot of female judges will do that. There's some judges who wear doilies, like Ginsburg used to wear. There are some female judges who will wear little kind of sashes and almost like an ascot looking thing. That's not uncommon at all. But yeah, for her, that's almost kind of like a neckerchief type of thing. I mean, also remember, you are in New Mexico, so it's a little bit of the Western culture. I mean, out west, attorneys wear cowboy boots and bolo ties. That's very common. So it just depends. It's regional dress, I would argue, probably more than anything.
And I'm sure you all are doing it as well, counsel. You're doing the same thing I'm doing, right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You're reminding your witnesses not to watch court TV?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure, Waffle House, that's not a bad idea.
No experts were included?
At the start, Your Honor, we talked about experts needing to watch.
Oh, I didn't understand it that way.
I think that we agreed that our experts get to
It's an
watch.
ascot.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
They would
Okay.
be allowed in the courtroom.
Yeah, okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, having the experts watch from home, the bigger thing is that saves money because now they don't have to be here. They can watch recorded testimony, which saves them time and money.
So, anyone that's not an expert witness, please do not get on court TV to watch, what has preceded you, because we invoke the exclusion rule.
Soul Souffle, are you talking about the sunglasses in my background picture, or which judge? Who's got glasses on? Hold on, prosecutor. I got to get through some super chats real quick. Yes, the jury meets at a Waffle House and they get attacked in an unaffiliated act of violence.
Hello? Okay, jury, so like I said, it's your lucky Friday. So, you're getting recessed, and please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Don't be looking at any news media accounts or any type of account, and anybody, TikTok or whatever. And
No TikTok.
don't Google anything about the Rust situation, the
Netscape.
production, or anything, or about the trial, and don't do any research. Okay. All right. Have a very rested weekend. We'll see you Monday at 8:30. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
And you know where to go on Monday.
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing meetups at a clandestine location. Wasn't the longest jury duty like a year and a half or something? I don't know, but OJ's was long. And this jury duty for Young Thug is going to be ridiculous. So what are they talking about? Fuck, I want to hear them.
Don't forget to get those exhibits. What were they? K2. Okay. Okay. Thank you. We're in recess. Have a good weekend.
The judge is the Olsen twins with their 64. Jeez. The prosecutor's going to coach softball after this. Young Thug will become Old Thug by the end. Yes. So, I think we're done. The Amy Winehouse impersonator. Okay, we're done. We are done ski. All right. Custom layout too. Wow, that fills out the screen all the way. Cool. Amy Kegelhouse, yes. Oh, Amy Kegelhouse. So we got a bunch of super chat, or not. Well, we only got super chats done, but there are a bunch of questions. Excellent says, hypothetically, if someone were to have YIF on their phone, would courts be allowed to put it in an exhibit? It's got to be. Remember, anything you have to offer has to be relevant. So, any evidence offered has to have a relevancy. So, if you try to offer it, there better be relevance behind it. It better have probative value. If there's no probative value, then no, you can't introduce it. Quicks, this is actually a good question. Can they use any of this in the trial for Baldwin, or will they have to resubmit it for his lawyers to be able to contest? Well, none of this involves Alec Baldwin, so they could bring in Hannah Reed and make her, is this you? Is this you? Did you say this? You say this? You say this? You say this? And she can answer yes, 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 no, no, no. But they can't just come in and slap those text messages down in Alec's trial. You still have to lay foundation. You still have to meet the rules of hearsay because it's hearsay at that point. When you're in a new trial, like all the rules attach again. Like it's all out of court statements. Well, being offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted that Alec Baldwin committed manslaughter. Well, once again, you're getting into probative value issues. Is there probative value? Does it make it more likely or less likely that Alec Baldwin committed this crime? And what frickin' Hannah Reed says probably won't cut it. So no, you probably won't see these again unless these people get called as witnesses. Can the jury be told that they can view the deletion of messages in a negative light? Yes, because there are times where deleting messages can be seen as tampering with evidence. Now, it's funny because that guy, he didn't give an honest answer of, well, yeah, sometimes if you have enough stuff on your phone, it'll overwrite. Like you can overwrite data in certain situations. But there isn't, you can make a lot of negative inferences to a non-defendant witness. So for example, the unit manager testified today, they could go after her for a lot of different things. And let's say she asserted the Fifth Amendment rights. They could tell the jury, they can infer that lady took the Fifth because she was guilty. They can't say that about Hannah, but you can make that inference against other parties. Or can they just mention it like neutrally? Well, no, you'd want to make it the most devastating you can if you're on the other side. That's a good question as well, Pepsi Man. Yamaha Biker's got an interesting point. I think sidebars are BS. It should be all in the open. Well, to find out in the open, like in the open that it's in front of the jury, because now they're hearing stuff that's probably impermissible. So you don't want that. But I think that the sidebars do have value, and as long as they're on the record, I think that's the biggest thing. I think all sidebars should be on the record. Jacob says, I haven't been paying attention, but why the F isn't Alec Baldwin? This is Alec Baldwin on trial. He's going to get tried in August. He got his indictment dismissed, so they proceeded on Hannah's, and in the meantime, they re-indicted him. So he's going to take a back seat for a little bit. Suiyar says, a lot of blame to go around, but punishing the low man on totem pole is not justice. I know that, but this isn't a 55-person totem pole. This is like a 2 or 3 person totem pole. Barton Bella says there's been an arrest in the murder of that Georgia college student. She was a missing nursing student. Twitter says it was an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. Interesting. I didn't hear about that. Pepsi Man for $2 says, "Hang Baldwin." Thank you for the support. So I think that's it. I think I got everybody's messages here. Did I just shit on all my chat shitty questions? No, those are actually very good questions. I mean, seriously, those are good questions. I honestly, it's like this is this one here. This one here from Quicks. This is a really good question. Like, can I, could the prosecutors use these everything in this trial in the next trial? Now, a lot of stuff will overlap. The videos, like the pictures, all that fun stuff. But some of it's going to be, there's going to be relevancy questions. There's going to be issues of probative value, the prejudicial effect. There's going to be issues of hearsay. So not everything's going to be admissible, but a lot of it will be. But yeah, the Hannah Reid stuff, that's all going to be in Dagula. That's not all coming in because none of that can work there. So that's a really good question. Like, if you don't know the answer to that, that's, yeah, how would that work? And the only way that would work is if they call these people. Now, if this Hannah Reid gets convicted, I'm sure they'll call her and make a deal with her that if she testifies, they'll help her get out early. But who knows what they'll do? Who knows what they'll do? Alpha says, I forgot that most jurisdictions allow juries to shoot judicial notice as facts in civil cases, but on criminal. That's not true. You can have judicial notice in a criminal case. Like, Your Honor, would the court take note that the temperature on August 5th was 90 degrees? So noted. Court takes notice of that. I mean, you can get notice of certain things. It's just you have to be careful about the things you're trying to get notice of. Like, one time I had a case where I think there was an issue with the venue that was established. And the prosecutor tried to say, well, Your Honor, can they take judicial notice that this road is in fact in such and such township, which is in such and such county? And I objected, saying the court can't take judicial notice of an element of an offense because that is a fact in dispute. If it wasn't a fact in dispute, we wouldn't have to have a trial because there'd be no facts to prove. And the judge actually partially agreed with me. So, but then he also, I mean, we still got convicted, so it didn't matter, ultimately. Stacy says, I like the new subscribers better than you old people. Shh. Will they have Hannah display her gorilla grip to the jury? Yeah. They're going to like weld a fucking cinder block onto a dildo and have Hannah stand there and just like watch it go up and down like a pump on a oil, like on a horse head pump. Soul souffle, well, soul or soule souffle. I'm not sure how you want to do that. For $4.99, says thank you for the stream, Sean. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Matt, you're making a joke. Oh, okay. Well, jumping to the okay. Well, I wasn't sure. You know, it's the internet. It's hard to tell sometimes. But yeah, fair enough. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, I know you think that was a joke, but
You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Mermley says, I enjoy your trial commentary. Well, thank you. Did I watch the video of the drunk chief getting slammed on the hood of the police cruiser yet? No. Guys, it's 8:30 now. Probably starting at like 10 or so. Maybe a little bit later. We'll get started and we're going to go for a while. So, we're going to hang out. We're going to do, Well, it's Friday night. We're going to do a law show, chat. We're going to do a law show. All about the law. We're going to talk about legal things. I know. Weird. But we're going to do some Fannie. We're going to talk about Fannie. We're going to talk about, yeah. Hashif, did I see the Super Bowl streaker won 374K betting there be a streaker? How does that? That's like throwing a fight. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm surprised they paid out on. I wouldn't pay out on that. Betting on something where you're orchestrating the event is kind of crooked. So I'm surprised anybody, like any casino or sportsbook, paid out on that. That is, yeah, not good. I wouldn't do that. That's I would have told that guy to get fucked if I ran that casino. So, am I gonna legal? I'm gonna legal explain the HTMLs. Yes. Winter Soldier said, "Yeah, it's not a legal bet." Yeah. Mama Source Rex says, "No trials the same about your commentary." Oh well, thank you. Sean says, "Crooked." I say enterprising. Well, you don't want the casinos that. Oh, hold on. I'm going to get to that. I heard. So, when you talk about enterprising, well, the casinos might get enterprising and break your legs with a sledgehammer. So, no, guys, we're going to do it on YouTube. We're going to do it for the people. All of the people. Because this is a law channel. So, wish you could drop pics in the YouTube chat. That's why I prefer locals. I will, you know what, guys? For you guys, I will put up a locals chat. How about that for tonight? But we're going to do what we do here on YouTube, but I will put up a locals chat. How about that? How about that, chat? That's what we're going to do. We'll do it that way. So where are we at here? I bet them. This is never a law channel. Well, it never was, I guess. I can't believe you come here for a law channel. Law dog in it with potentially criminal. I like that. So, all right, guys. I will see you guys in a little bit. Overall today, this didn't really hurt Hannah too much. I mean, this was better. It was a lot better than yesterday. But all those issues about the carts and everything being left out, the van being left out, nope. They've got reasonable explanations for everything. So, yeah, it's still the prosecutor still scored points today, but Hannah is still presumed innocent. So, just because she did it, well, she kind of might be guilty, but not yet. Not yet. I think we'll get there, though, at some point, sadly. So, have a nice night, guys. I will see you guys at about 10 o'clock, all right? Take care.